Okay. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so that's still broken. That's interesting. Okay. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Hope it's well. Okay, my live chat is very broken. Hang on. Why? Why has something gone wrong? It's terrible. Mm. Oh, crazy. Okay. Looks like the chat's broken completely. Is it because I'm starting an hour early? That makes sense. There you are. Hello, hello, hello. It's Odyssey time. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Welcome, 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 welcome. I hope, can you see me? Can you hear me? I hope everything's going all right. Uh, as you can see, we are doing the Odyssey, a reading. Why are we live already? If you do not know, and I do apologize because I'm really bad at updating these sort of things, the streams are going to be starting at this time moving forward, so just an hour earlier than usual. The reason for it is because I am old and I'm tired and I need to go to bed at 11 o'clock now instead of midnight. I'm very, very old. I know. I'm sorry. So I apologize if a few people are lost in the shuffle. If you are lost in the shuffle specifically, I am very sorry about that. Hopefully notifications are going out as normal. I mean, they will be. YouTube will be notifying you that I'm live now. So thank you very much for bearing with me. At least I feel like this is a calmer stream to sort of start to do the transition on. It's not like a highly anticipated stream or anything like that, right? So it's I mean, not to say the Odyssey isn't worth the attention, the full attention of all of us, including me. But you know, it's I feel like it won mostly because of the last chance effect and not so much because of the appeal of the concept. Does that make sense? So where's the sound? I'm getting there. I hope you mean like the background music. It will start in a second. I am behind. Okay, but before I do that, I had a bit planned. I was going to start and then I got distracted because the thing wasn't working. Damn it. I don't know if I can do the bit now. I'm going to do the bit now. You just have to bear with me. Pretend the stream just started. I see a song of past romance. I see the sacrifice of man. I see portrayals of betrayal and a brother's final stand. I see you on the brink of death. I see you draw your final breath. I see a man who gets to make it home alive. But it's no longer you. Oh, all right, it's not that good of a bit. Here's the music. All right, all right, all right. I just wanted to sing that. I wanted to have fun with that. Anyway, if you know where that's from, no, you didn't. It's highly anticipated to me. Oh, I'm sorry, TC. It was yeah, sorry. It was funnier in my head. I was going to just kind of start and then I was going to say, welcome to the reading of the Odyssey. And it was going to be very cool and everyone was going to cheer and clap, but that didn't happen. So, hey, hey, hey. What did I forget? I forgot nothing. All great movies start with silent screens. Don't tell me I was actually silent that whole time. Thanks, Vincent. I'm glad you remembered. But yeah, okay, so we will be reading the Odyssey today, as I think I've made abundantly clear. The copy that I am reading right now is available through the Project Gutenberg website, and it is a public domain ebook of the Odyssey, released in 1999. Yes. I don't know if that means it was released on the website in 1999. Anyway, it was translated by Samuel Butler. So, all very above board, all very good and well. I have a physical copy next to me. I'm lying, it's not next to me. Where did I put it? It used to be next to me. Okay, anyway, I had a physical copy once upon a time. And then I put it somewhere, and now I don't know where it is. Yeah, so I will not be reading my physical copy. The physical copy is still under copyright. I shall be reading this version on the Project Gutenberg website. So I believe the link is in the description, if I did that correctly. Yes, it is. If you would like to read along with me, that is an option. So please enjoy. Okay, I'm glad I wasn't silent. Okay, Nolan's Odyssey is the best movie of 1826. I see. Oh, congrats, Phoenix. That's a huge accomplishment. Congratulations. 1 year since you started working on Fantastic Rhapsodies, the video game. I am sorry you had a horrible week, though. That's terrible. Read it in Greek. Unfortunately, I can't. I am dumb English speaker. I cannot. Also, the entire audience is English speaking, so I don't know. Well, no, not the entire audience. That's rude. Anyway, before I make an even bigger fool of myself. If you hear snoring in the background, that is my dog. So please be nice and tell her she's pretty. And then we can continue. Okay. Oi, YouTube is loading. Is YouTube loading slow or is my computer being bad? Hang on. Sorry. Small bit of troubleshooting before we start. Okay. More small troubleshooting. Yikes. Okay. Interesting. So it does seem that the live chat is having issues right now. Okay, let me put this over here, and then let me put this over here. Yeah, I can't read the chat. It's kind of coming up as a black box to me. That's unfortunate. That's deeply unfortunate. I don't like that at all. I suppose if worse comes to worse, I can go into the Discord, but that feels a bit rude. That's kicking out half the chat in favor of... come now. Why no load? Maybe if I try a different browser, that's an option. Oh my god, please tell me it was just the browser that was being stupid. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We're fine. Okay. There we go. Now we've got it. I'm back. I can see you guys. Okay. Okay. Hello. Yeah, different browser work. That was nice. Hello, welcome back to the world of the chat. I know, I felt very lonely for a bit there. It was crazy. No distractions. Damn. Okay. Anyways, okay, so let's, without further ado, get into it. Now, if you do not know, if you have not read the Odyssey before, it is very, very long. So we are definitely not going to be finishing it in one reading. The other thing about it is that it has a very long sort of prologue, right? The first, I believe the first 3 books, is it the first 3 books? First 3, and then I think up to book 4. Yes. No. Book 5? Anyway, yeah, so the first couple of books is from the perspective of Telemachus, who is Odysseus's son. And then the translation that we're reading also changes quite a few of the characters' names. Most notably the character of Odysseus, which is a bit unfortunate. So whenever you see, unless I'm wrong, which hopefully I'm not, because I read through this copy quite a way, but not considerably. I believe it's the Latin names. It might be the Latin names. Let me actually look this up. God forbid I do this before the stream starts. I will be doing this live. Okay, it is. So Odysseus is called Ulysses in the book. That is the Latin variant. Okay, good to know. Because I was a bit confused when I started. And I kind of, like, this is a public domain, like, translation, so I kind of assumed it would be 1-for-1, and then I started reading it the other day, and I didn't quite know what was happening. Because it was the story of Odysseus, but then the main character was, of course, called, like, Ulysses. So they're using the Latin names. But not for Telemachus, which is quite interesting. Yeah, so quite a few of the names are changed, including some of the gods. So we will try to spot them where we can, and we'll muddle through them together, because I'm not as familiar with the translation here, which is a bit unfortunate, but we will make it through this together, I promise. Ulysses Latin, Odysseus is Greek. I see. Thank you. I'm learning new things. What are you number 1 of on the bar? Whatever strikes your imagination first. You mean telecommunications? Of course. Everyone loves telemarketing. Okay. Let me stretch. Let me have a drink of water. I don't know how much of that the mic picks up, and I'm a bit scared to ask. And without further ado, let's read the Odyssey. Okay, Book 1, The Gods in Council, Minerva's Visit to Ithaca, and the Challenge from Telemachus to the Suitors. Tell me, O Muse, of that ingenious hero who travelled far and wide after he had sacked the famous town of Troy. Many cities did he visit, and many were the nations with whose manners and customs he was acquainted. Moreover, he suffered much by sea while trying to save his own life and bring his men safely home. But do what he might, he could not save his men, for they perished through their own sheer folly in eating the cattle of the sun god Hyperion. Spoilers. Also, Apollo Hyperion, so that's good to know. So the god prevented them from ever reaching home. Tell me too about all these things, O daughter of Jove. Jove is Zeus in this, sorry. From whatever source you may know then. So now all who escaped death in battle or by shipwreck had got safely home, except Ulysses, and he, though he was longing to return to his wife and country, was detained by the goddess Calypso, who had got him into a large cave and wanted to marry him. But as years went by, there came a time when the gods settled that he should go back to Ithaca. Even then, however, when he was among his own people, his troubles were not yet over. Nevertheless, all the gods had now begun to pity him, except Neptune, who still persecuted him without ceasing and would not let him get home. You can stop reading the book now, we finished. Yeah, I know. It starts in a very interesting place. It kind of took me aback too when I actually read the book. It does feel like you've kind of started at the end of it, but it's quite interesting the way that they go about it. Now Neptune had gone off to the Ethiopians, who are at the world's end, and lie in two halves, the one looking west and the other east. He had gone there to accept a hecatomb of sheep and oxen. Hope I pronounced that right, anyway, and was enjoying himself at his festival. But the other gods met in the house of Olympian Jove, and the sire of gods and men spoke first. At that moment he was thinking of Aegisthus, who had been killed by Agamemnon's son Orestes, so he said to the other gods, "See now how men lay blame upon us gods for what is after all nothing but their own folly. Look at Aegisthus." Yeah, I'm pronouncing that. Look at Aegisthus. He must needs make love to Agamemnon's wife unrighteously and then kill Agamemnon, though he knew it would be the death of him. For I sent Mercury to warn him not to do either of these things, inasmuch as Orestes would be sure to take his revenge when he grew up and wanted to return home. Mercury told him this in all good will. Mercury told him this in all good will, but he would not listen, and now he has paid for everything in full. Then Minerva said, "Father, son of Saturn, king of kings, it served Aegisthus right." I'm not sure who Minerva is. Is that, Athena? I'm gonna assume Athena until proven otherwise. "And so it would anyone else who does as he did. But Aegisthus is neither here nor there, for it is for Ulysses that my heart bleeds." Yeah, it's Athena. "When I think of his sufferings in that lonely sea-girt island, far away, poor man, from all his friends. It is an island covered with forest in the very middle of the sea, and a goddess lives there, daughter of the magician Atlas, who looks after the bottom of the ocean, and carries the great columns that keep heaven and earth asunder. This daughter of Atlas has got hold of the poor unhappy Ulysses, and keeps trying by every kind of blandishment by every kind of blandishment to make him forget his home, so that he is tired of life and thinks of nothing but how he may once more see the smoke of his own chimneys. You, sir, take no heed of this, and yet when Ulysses was before Troy, did he not profit?" I'm sorry. Please tell me you can hear that. Ah, shoot. Okay, I don't think you can. Daisy is snoring so very loudly. You know, usually she's not very loud, and now she's snoring so loud. Okay. Guys, it's crazy. It just happens when you're here, I swear. Are we taking this seriously, Hannah? I know, I'm sorry. I'm locking in. Okay. Small diatribe aside. Yes, we hear everything. Daisy. Hey, Papa. Are we okay? We're okay. We're just choosing to lie with your head over the bed at such a specific angle. Okay. We're fine. Where was I? Okay. This daughter of Atlas has got hold of poor unhappy Ulysses, and keeps trying by every kind of blandishment to make him forget his home, so that he is tired of life and thinks of nothing but how he may once more see the smoke of his own chimneys. You, sir, take no heed of this, and yet when Ulysses was before Troy, did he not propitiate you with many a burnt sacrifice? Why, then, should you keep on being so angry with him? And Jove said, My child, what are you talking about? How can I forget Ulysses, than whom there is no more capable man on earth, nor more liberal in his offerings to the immortal gods that live in heaven? Bear in mind, however, that Neptune is still furious with Ulysses for having blinded an eye of Polyphemus, king of the Cyclops. Polyphemus is son to Neptune by the nymph Thusa, daughter to the sea king Phorcys. Therefore, though he will not kill Ulysses outright, he torments him by preventing him from getting home. Still, let us lay our heads together and see how we can help him to return. Neptune will then be pacified, for if we are all of a mind, we can hardly stand out. He can hardly stand out against us. And Minerva said, Father, son of Saturn, king of kings, if then the gods now mean that Ulysses should get home, we should first send Mercury to the Ogygian. I actually don't know how to pronounce that. Ogygian? Ogygian. The benefit of using it online. Ogygian. Okay, I was right. Okay. I was right the second time, which is basically like being right the first time. Sorry. I keep stopping. I know. We should first send Mercury to the Ogygian island to tell Calypso that we have made up our minds and that he is to return. In the meantime, I will go to Ithaca to put heart into Ulysses' son, Telemachus. I keep wanting to pronounce it as Telemachus. Telemachus. I will embolden him to call the Achaeans in assembly and speak out to the suitors of his mother Penelope, who persist in eating up any number of his sheep and oxen. I will also conduct him to Sparta and to Pylos, to see if he can hear anything about the return of his dear father, for this will make people speak well of him. So saying, she bound on her glittering golden sandals, imperishable, with which she can fly like the wind over land and sea. She grasped the redoubtable bronze-shod spear, so stout and sturdy and strong, wherewith she quells the ranks of heroes who have displeased her, and down she darted from the topmost summits of Olympus, whereon forthwith she was in Ithaca, at the gateway of Ulysses' house, disguised as a visitor Mentes, chief to the Taphians, and she held a bronze spear in her hand. There she found the lordly suitors seated on hides of the oxen, which they had killed and eaten, and playing draughts in front of the house. Men, servants, and pages were bustling about to wait upon them, some mixing wine with water in the mixing bowls, some cleaning down the tables with wet sponges and laying them out again, and some cutting up great quantities of meat. Okay. Quick break. Sorry. I'm just going to be turning off the mic briefly. The dog has been moved. Okay. Great quantities of meat. Okay. Okay. Telemachus saw her long before anyone else did. He was sitting moodily among the suitors, thinking about his brave father and how he would send them flying out of the house if he were to come of his own again and be honoured as in days gone by. Thus brooding as he sat amongst them, he caught sight of Minerva and went straight to the gate, for he was vexed. That a stranger should be kept waiting for admittance. He took her right hand in his own and bade her give him her spear. Welcome, said he, to our house, and when you have partaken of food, you shall tell us what you have come for. He led the way as he spoke, and Minerva followed him. When they were within, he took her spear and set it in the spear stand against a strong bearing post, along with many other spears of his unhappy father. And he conducted her to a richly decorated seat, under which he threw a cloth of damask. There was a footstool also for her feet, and he set another seat near her for himself, away from the suitors, that she might not be annoyed while eating by their noise and insolence, and that he might ask her more freely about his father. A maid-servant then brought them water in a beautiful golden ewer, and poured it into a silver basin for them to wash their hands, and she drew a clean table beside them. An upper servant brought them bread, and offered them many good things of what there was in the house. The carver fetched them plates of all manner of meats, and set cups of gold by their side, and a manservant brought them wine, and poured it out for them. Then the suitors came in, and took their places on the benches and seats. Forthwith men servants poured water over their hands, maids went round with the bread baskets, pages filled the mixing bowls with wine and water, and they laid their hands upon the good things that were before them. As soon as they had had enough to eat and drink, they wanted music and dancing, which are the crowning embellishments of a banquet. So a servant brought a lyre to Phemius, whom they compelled perforce to sing to them. As soon as he touched his lyre and began to sing, Telemachus spoke low to Minerva, with his head close to hers, that no man might hear. "I hope, sir," said he, "that you will not be offended with what I am going to say. Singing comes cheap to those who do not pay for it, and all this is done at the cost of those whose bones lie rotting in some wilderness or grinding into powder on the surf. If these men were to see my father come back to Ithaca, they would pray for longer legs rather than a longer purse, for money would not serve them. But he, alas, has fallen on an ill fate, and even when people do sometimes say that he is coming, we no longer heed them. We shall never see him again. And now, sir, tell me, and tell me true, who you are and where you come from. Tell me of your town and parents, what manner of ship you came in, how your crew brought you to Ithaca, and of what nation they declared themselves to be, for you cannot have come by land. Tell me also truly, for I want to know, are you a stranger to this house, or have you been here in my father's time? In the old days we had many visitors, for my father went about much himself." And Minerva answered, "I will tell you truly and particularly all about it. I am Mentes, son of Anchialus, and I am king of the Taphians. I have come here with my ship and crew on a voyage to men of a foreign tongue, being bound for Temesa, with a cargo of iron, and I shall bring back copper. As for my ship, it lies over yonder off the open country away from the town, in the harbour Rethron, under the wooded mountain Neritum. Our fathers were friends before us, as old Laertes will tell you, if you will go and ask him. They say, however, that he never comes to town now, and lives by himself in the country, faring hardly, with an old woman to look after him and get his dinner for him. When he comes in tired from pottering about his vineyard. They told me your father was at home again, and that was why I came. But it seems the gods are still keeping him back, for he is not dead yet, not on the mainland. It is more likely he is on some sea-girt island in mid-ocean, or a prisoner among savages who are detaining him against his will. I am no prophet, and know very little about omens, but I speak as it is borne in upon me from heaven, and assure you that he will not be away much longer. For he is a man of such resource that even though he were in chains of iron, he would find some means of getting home again. But tell me, and tell me true, can Ulysses really have such a fine-looking fellow for a son? You are indeed wonderfully like him about the head and eyes, for we were close friends before he set sail for Troy, where the flower of all the Argives went also. Since that time we have never either of us seen the other." "My mother," answered Telemachus, "tells me I am son to Ulysses, but it is a wise child that knows his own father. Would that I were the son to one who had grown old upon his own estates. For, since you ask me, there is no more ill-starred man under heaven than he who they tell me is my father." And Minerva said, "There is no fear of your race dying out yet, while Penelope has such a fine son as you are. But tell me, and tell me true, what is the meaning of all this feasting, and who are these people? What is it all about? Have you some banquet, or is there a wedding in the family? For no one seems to be bringing any provisions of his own. And the guests, how atrociously they are behaving! What riot they make over the whole house! It is enough to disgust any respectable person who comes near them." "Sir," said Telemachus, "as regards your question, so long as my father was here, it was well within us and with the house. But the gods in their displeasure have willed it otherwise, and have hidden him away more closely than mortal man has ever yet hidden. I would have borne it better even though he were dead. if he had fallen with his men before Troy, or had died with friends around him when the days of his fighting were done. For then the Achaeans would have built a mound over his ashes, and I should myself have been heir to his renown. But now the storm winds have spirited him away, we know not whither. He is gone without leaving so much as a trace behind him, and I inherit nothing but dismay. Nor does the matter end simply with grief for the loss of my father. Heaven has laid sorrows upon me of yet another kind. For the chiefs from all of our islands, Dulicum, Same, and the woodland island of Zacynthus, and also all the principal men of Ithaca itself, are eating up my house under the pretext of paying their court to my mother, who will neither point blank say that she will not marry, nor yet bring matters to an end, so they are making havoc of my estate, and before long will do so also with myself. Is that so? Exclaimed Minerva. Then you do indeed want Ulysses home again. Give him his helmet, shield, and a couple of lances, and if he is the man he was when I first knew him in our house, drinking and making merry, he would soon lay his hands about these rascally suitors, were he to stand once more upon his own thresholds. He was then coming from Ephria, where he had been to beg poison for his arrows from Ilus, son of Murmerus. Ilus feared the ever-living gods and would not give him any, but my father let him have some, for he was very fond of him. If Ulysses is the man he then was, these suitors will have a short shrift. No, that's right, shrift. And a sorry wedding. But there, it rests with heaven to determine whether he is to return, and take his revenge on his own house or no. I would, however, urge you to set about trying to get rid of these suitors at once. Take my advice, call the Achaean heroes in assembly tomorrow morning, lay your case before them, and call heaven to bear your witness. Bid the suitors take themselves off, each to his own place, and if your mother's mind is set on marrying again, let her go back to her father, who will find her a husband and provide her with all the marriage gifts that so dear a daughter may expect. As for yourself, let me prevail upon you to take the best ship you can get, with a crew of 20 men, and go in quest of your father who has so long been missing. Someone may tell you something, or, and people often hear things in this way, some heaven-sent message may direct you. First go to Pylos and ask Nestor. Thence go on to Sparta and visit Menelaus, for he got home last of all the Achaeans. If you hear that your father is alive and on his way home, you can put up with the waste these suitors will make for yet another 12 months. If, on the other hand, you hear of his death, come home at once, celebrate his funeral rites with all due pomp, build a barrow to his memory, and make your mother marry again. Then, having done all this, think it well over in your mind how, by fair means or foul, you may kill these suitors in your own house. You are too old to plead infancy any longer. Have you not heard how people are singing Orestes' praises for having killed his father's murderer Aegisthus? You are a fine, smart-looking fellow. Show your mettle, then, and make yourself a name in story. Now, however, I must go back to my ship and to my crew, who will be impatient if I keep them waiting longer. Think the matter over for yourself, and remember what I have said to you. Quick sip of tea. How are we doing? Hannah skips leg day. When? I never skip leg day. Leg day is the only day I have. I go walking every day. That's my exercise. I'm getting distracted. Sir, answered Telemachus, it has been very kind of you to talk to me in this way, as though I were your own son, and I will do all you tell me. I know you want to be getting on with your voyage, but stay a little longer till you have taken a bath and refreshed yourself. I will then give you a present, and you shall go on your way rejoicing. I will give you one of great beauty and value, a keepsake such as only dear friends give to one another. And Minerva answered, do not try to keep me, for I will be on my way at once. As for any present you may be disposed to make me, keep it till I come again, and I will take it home with me. You shall give me a very good one, and I will give you one of no less value in return. With these words she flew away like a bird into the air, but she had given Telemachus courage, and had made him think more than ever about his father. He felt the change, wondered at it, and knew that the stranger had been a god, so he went straight to where the suitors were sitting. Phemius was still singing, and his hearers sat wrapped in silence as he told the sad tale of the return from Troy, and the ills Minerva had laid upon the Achaeans. Penelope, daughter of Icarus, heard his song from her room upstairs, and came down by the great staircase, not alone, but attended by 2 of her handmaids. When she reached the suitors, she stood by one of the bearing posts that supported the roof of the cloisters, with a staid maiden on either side of her. She held a veil, moreover, before her face, and was weeping bitterly. "Phemius," she cried, you know many another feat of gods and heroes, such as poets love to celebrate. Sing the suitors some one of these, and let them drink their wine in silence. But cease this sad tale, for it breaks my sorrowful heart, and reminds me of my lost husband, whom I mourn ever without ceasing, and whose name was great over all Hellas and Middle Argos." "Mother," answered Telemachus, "let the bard sing what he has mind to. Bards do not make the ills they sing of. It is Jove, not they, who makes them, and who sends weal or woe upon mankind according to his own good pleasure. This fellow means no harm by singing the ill-fated return of the Danaans, for people always applaud the latest songs most warmly. Make up your mind to it and bear it. Ulysses is not the only man who never came back from Troy, but many another went down as well as he. Go then, within the house, and busy yourself with your daily duties, your loom, your distaff, and the ordering of your servants. For speech is man's matter, and mine above all others, for it is I who am master here." She went wandering back into the house, and laid her son's saying in her heart. Then, going upstairs with her handmaids into her room, she mourned her dear husband till Minerva shed sweet sleep over her eyes. But the suitors were clamorous throughout the covered cloisters, and prayed each one that he might be her bedfellow. Then Telemachus spoke. "Shameless," he cried, "and insolent suitors, let us feast at our pleasure now, and let there be no brawling, for it is a rare thing to hear a man with such a divine voice as Phemius has. But in the morning meet me in full assembly, that I may give you formal notice to depart, and feast at one another's houses, turn and turn about at your own cost. If, on the other hand, you choose to persist in sponging upon me, heaven help me, but Jove shall reckon with you in full, and when you fall in my father's house there shall be no man to avenge you." The suitors bit their lips as they heard him, and marvelled at the boldness of his speech. Then Antinaus. Isn't this fun? Antinous, son of Eupathes, said, "The gods seem to have given you lessons in bluster and tall talking. May Jove never grant you to be the chief in Ithaca as your father was before you." Telemachus answered, "Antinous, do not chide with me, but God willing, I will be chief too if I can. Is this the worst fate you can think of for me? It is no bad thing to be a chief, for it brings both riches and honor. Still, now that Ulysses is dead, there are many great men in Ithaca, both old and young, and some other may take the lead among them. Nevertheless, I will be chief in my own house, and I will rule those whom Ulysses has won for me." Then Eurymachus, son of Polybus, answered, "It rests with heaven to decide who shall be chief among us, but you shall be master in your own house and over your own possessions. No one while there is a man in Ithaca shall do you violence nor rob you. And now, my good fellow, I want to know about this stranger. What country does he come from? Of what family is he? And where is his estate? Has he brought you news about the return of your father, or was he on business of his own? He seemed a well-to-do man, but he hurried off so suddenly that he was gone in a moment before we could get to know him." "My father is dead and gone," answered Telemachus, "and even if some rumour reaches me, I put no more faith in it now. My mother does indeed sometimes send for a soothsayer and question him, but I give his prophesyings no heed. As for the stranger, he was Mentis, son of Anchialus, chief of the Taphians, an old friend of my father's. Chief of the Taphians and an old friend of my father's, but in his heart he knew that it had been the goddess." The suitors then returned to their singing and dancing until the evening, but when night fell upon their pleasuring, they went home to bed, each in his own abode. Telemachus's room was high up in a tower that looked onto the outer court. Hither then he hied, brooding and full of thought. A good old woman, Euryclea, daughter of Ops, the son of Pisanor, went before him with a couple of blazing torches. Laertes had bought her with his own money when she was quite young. He gave the worth of 20 oxen for her, and shewed as much respect to her in his household as he did to his own wedded wife. But he did not take her to his bed, for he feared his wife's resentment. She it was who now lighted Telemachus to his room, and she loved him better than any of the other women in the house did, for she had nursed him when he was a baby. He opened the door of his bedroom and sat down upon the bed. As he took off his shirt, he gave it to the good old woman, who folded it tidily up and hung it for him over a peg by his bedside, after which she went out, pulled the door to by a silver catch, and drew the bolt home by means of the strap. But Telemachus, as he lay covered with a woolen fleece, kept thinking all night through of his intended voyage and of the counsel that Minerva had given him. Hui, okay. Quick break. Sorry, I was getting a bit more tongue-tied near the end there. I need to calm down. Something ancient Greece, spoken very eloquently among us. Okay. How we doing, gang? How we feeling? Yeah, me too. It's alright though. So that's the end of book 1. How many books are there actually? That's a good question. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, 23 books. It took us 40 minutes to get through book 1. Well, not quite 40 minutes, more like half an hour to get through book 1. Maybe Homer telling everything that happens in the story in the beginning is the ancient version of a YouTuber putting what happens in the video at the first second. It's like the those YouTube video essays where they're like, but before I can tell you about this TV show, let me tell you about film. Beauty standards originated in the 1960s. Sorry, that's a bit rude. They actually originated in ancient Egypt. That's also wrong. Don't listen to me. I wanted to read this someday, but got scared of the page count. Well, here you go. Now I'm setting you off. It's not that much. I don't know. It depends on like how much of a variation in word count each book is. But I mean, we've gotten through book 1 already. That's not too many. You just got to read one book every night, and then you'll be done within 23 days. That's less than a month. Just you wait for the ship catalog. Oh god, yeah. I wonder if we'll get to that point, actually. I don't know if we will. No, maybe we will. I believe in us. I believe in us. We can get there. Okay. See, it's bad. I'm yawning already. Homer really was just a tuber? Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is like, technically, you had to be an entertainer first when you were telling these stories, right? Like, so Homer's Homer. We don't really know if Homer was like a real guy. But we do know that these stories were told orally for like generations before they ever were written down. And that doesn't mean that it was often like, it was a performance. It was like watching a real play, except it was just someone recounting a story to you. And it's just, it's cool. And that's why I like this sort of setup we've got now. Because like, technically, this is what they were doing way back when. This was the original, the original live stream. was when you had the guy in the fire by the fireplace telling the story of the Odyssey. You see the vision. You see the vision. You're not all that, Hannah? Yeah, I know. I know. If anything, this is just a butchered story time. This is what they used to do, but like done wrong. It's slightly warped. As Nolan intended. Damn, if only I had this filmed in IMAX. Why is your head so big? I don't know. The hair's most of it, if it helps. Ooh, okay. I'm fine. He didn't invent these stories, but put them into a cohesive form. Yes, so I don't know if maybe something's been discovered since I learned this in school. But last I remember hearing, Homer may or may not have been like a single individual. It might have been several people. And he basically just took stories that were already, if he was a real guy, he took stories that already existed and wrote them down into what's the word? A consolidated script. So, well, text. So that like then became the official like text of the Odyssey, whereas before it would have been memorized and then retold over and over again, and then like changed slightly every time into multiple variations of it. And then Homer himself / themselves was either a single person or multiple people working under similar names or one guy. It's just very like complicated and we don't really know what the answer is. Again, that's last I heard. Things could have changed. They could have discovered something new in that time. It's been a while since high school. But yeah, the head is half of the couch couch. It's cozy. It's like an extra pillow. My lamp is very tall. It's actually a standing lamp. The perspective is just weird. You can technically see the back of it. It's not very clear. I should actually probably redraw this. I feel like the stream could be more detailed. The visual, I mean. I could redo it. I kind of made this in like a day for the first Storytime stream, and then yeah, that was kind of it. I could probably redo it sometime when I've got some free when I've got like a free day. Anyway. Let us continue on to book 2. I think it was one person due to the repetitions. Like whenever someone throws a rock like no one ever had, they use the exact same phrase. That's an interesting way to look at it. I wonder if there's a possible other reason for it. Probably not. I mean, it's not hard evidence, but it's a good start. You could always, if you redo it, you should add your dog. I should. Okay, well, there we go. That's motivation to do it. Okay. Book 2, Assembly of the People of Ithaca, Speeches of Telemachus and of the Suitors. Telemachus makes his preparations and starts for Pylos with Minerva disguised as mentor. I love these. I don't even think they're titles. They're like short summaries of the chapter. It's great. Now when the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn, appeared, Telemachus rose and dressed himself. He bound his sandals onto his comely feet, girded his sword about his shoulder, and left his room looking like an immortal god. That's a very famous line, by the way, rosy-fingered dawn. I don't know where... Is this where it's from? I have to assume. Rosy-fingered dawn. I've heard that so many times. He had once set the criers round to call the people in assembly, so they called them, and the people gathered thereon. Then, when and they were got together, he went to the place of assembly, spear in hand, not alone, for his 2 hounds went with him. Minerva endowed him with a presence of such divine comeliness that all marvelled at him as he went by, and when he took his place in his father's seat, even the oldest councillors made way for him. An immortal god! Oh, are we talking about dog? My dog's name is Daisy, and she's very cute, and she's sleeping very quietly now. Shame. Much more comfy than before. An immortal god! Okay. Walked out looking like an immortal god has to be picked up by some perfume company. Daisy's still here. Daisy's still here. She's just sleeping. She's sleeping soundly. Okay, don't bother Daisy. Daisy's sleeping. It's nap time. It's sleep time. Oh, yeah, it's out on Patreon. Oh, thank you, Phoenix. Yeah, thank you, Phoenix. Yeah, the Immortal God out on Patreon right now. Okay. Egyptius, a man bent double with age and of infinite experience, was the first to speak. His son Antiphus had gone with Ulysses to Ilius, and land of noble steeds, but the savage Cyclops had killed him when they were all shut up in the cave, and had cooked his last dinner for him. He had 3 sons left, of whom 2 still worked on their father's land, while the third, Eurynomus, was one of the suitors. Nevertheless, their father could not get over the loss of Antiphus, and was still weeping for him when he began his speech. "Men of Ithaca," he said, "hear my words. From the day Ulysses left us, there has been no meeting of our counsellors until now. Who then can it be, whether old or young, that finds it so necessary to convene us? Has he got wind of some host approaching, and does he wish to warn us? Or would he speak upon some other matter of public moment? I am sure he is an excellent person, and I hope Jove will grant him his heart's desire." Telemachus took his speech as of good omen, and rose at once, for he was bursting with what he had to say. He stood in the middle of the assembly, and the good herald Pisenor brought him his staff. Then, turning to Egyptus, "Sir," said he, "it is I, as you will shortly learn, who have convened you, for it is I who am the most aggrieved. I have not got wind of any host approaching about which I would warn you, nor is there any matter of public moment on which I would speak. My grievance is purely personal, and turns on 2 great misfortunes which have fallen upon my house. The first of these is the loss of my excellent father, who was chief among all you here present, and was like a father to every one of you. The second is much more serious, and ere long it will be the utter ruin of my estate. The sons of all the chief men among you are pestering my mother to marry them against her will. They are afraid to go to her father Icarus, asking him to choose the one he likes best, and to provide marriage gifts for his daughter. But day by day they keep hanging about my father's house, sacrificing our oxen, sheep, and fat goats for their banquets, and never giving so much as thought to the quantity of wine they drink. No estate can stand such recklessness. We have now no Ulysses to ward off harm from our doors, and I cannot hold my own against them. I shall never all my days be as good a man as he was. Still, I would indeed defend myself if I had power to do so, for I cannot stand such treatment any longer. My house is being disgraced and ruined. Have respect, therefore, to your own conscience and to public opinion. Fear, too, the wrath of heaven, lest the gods should be displeased and turn upon you. I pray you by Jove and Themis, who is the beginning and the end of counsels, do not hold back, my friends, and leave me single-handed, unless it be that my brave father Ulysses did something wrong to the Achaeans which you would now avenge on me, by aiding and abetting these suitors. Moreover, if I am to be eaten out of house and home at all, I had rather you did the eating yourselves, for I could then take action against you to some purpose, and serve you with notices from house to house till I got paid in full, whereas now I have no remedy." With this, Telemachus dashed his staff to the ground and burst into tears. Everyone was very sorry for him, but they all sat still, and no one ventured to make him an angry answer, save only Antinous, who spoke thus. Do you think Antinous is the root word for antagonist? Because I believe it. I would believe it. Telemachus, insolent braggart that you are, how dare you try to throw the blame on us suitors? It is your mother's fault, not ours, for she is a very artful woman. This 3 years past, and close on 4, she had been driving us out of our minds, by encouraging each one of us, and sending him messages without meaning one word of what she says. And then there was that other trick she played us. She set up a great tambour frame in her room, and began to work on an enormous piece of fine needlework. Sweethearts, said she, Ulysses is indeed dead. Still do not press me to marry again immediately. Wait, for I would not have the skill in needlework perish unrecorded, till I have completed a pall for the hero Laertes to be in readiness against the time... to be in readiness against the time when death shall take him. He is very rich, and the woman of the place will talk if he is laid out without a pall. This was what she said, and we assented, whereon we could see her working on her great web all day long, but at night she would unpick the stitches again by torchlight. She fooled us this way for 3 years, and we never found her out. But as time wore on, and she was now in her 4th year, one of her maids who knew what she was doing told us, and we caught her in the act of undoing her work, so she had to finish it whether she would or no. The suitors, therefore, make you this answer, that both you and the Achaeans may understand. Send your mother away, and bid her marry the man of her own, of her father's choice. For I do not know what will happen if she goes on plaguing us much longer with the airs she gives herself on the score of the accomplishments Minerva has taught her, and because she is so clever. We never yet heard of such a woman. We know all about Tyro, Alcmena, Mycene, and the famous woman of old, but they were nothing to your mother, any one of them. It was not fair of her to treat us in that way, and as long as she continues in the mind with which heaven has now endowed her, so long shall we go on eating up your estate, and I do not see why she should change, for she gets all the honour and glory, and it is you who pay for it, not she. Understand, then, that she will not go back to our lands, neither here nor elsewhere, till she has made her choice and married someone or other of us. Telemachus answered, Antinous, how can I drive the mother who bore me from my father's house? My father is abroad, and we do not know whether he is alive or dead. It will be hard on me if I have to pay Icarus the large sum which I must give him if I insist on sending his daughter back to him. Not only will he deal rigorously with me, but heaven will also punish me, for my mother, when she leaves the house, will call on the Erinyes to avenge her. Besides, it would not be a credible thing to do, and I will have nothing to say to it. If you choose to take offence at this, leave the house and feast elsewhere in one another's houses at your own cost, turn and turn about. If, on the other hand, you elect to persist in sponging upon one man, heaven help me, but Jove shall reckon with you in full, and when you fall in my father's house, there shall be no man to avenge you. Yeah, he is just repeating himself. I thought I was going insane for a second, sorry. As he spoke, Jove sent 2 eagles from the top of the mountain, and they flew on and on with the wind, sailing side by side in their own lordly flight. Sorry. When they were right over the middle of the assembly, they wheeled and circled about, beating the air with their wings and glaring death into the eyes of them that were below. Then, fighting fiercely and tearing at one another, they flew off towards the right over town. The people wondered as they saw them, and asked each other what all this might be, whereon Halitherses, who was the best prophet and reader of omens among them, spoke to them plainly and in all honesty, saying, Hear me, men of Ithaca, and I speak more particularly to the suitors, for I see mischief brewing for them. Ulysses is not going to be away much longer. Indeed, he is close at hand to deal out death and destruction, not on them alone, but on many another of us who live in Ithaca. Let us then be wise in time, and put a stop to this wickedness before he comes. Let the suitors do so of their own accord. It will be better for them. For I am not prophesying without due knowledge. Everything has happened to Ulysses as I foretold when the Argives set out for Troy, and he with them. I said that after going through much hardship and losing all his men, he should come home again in the 20th year, and that no one would know him. And now all this is coming true. Eurymachus, son of Polybus, then said, "Go home, old man, and prophesy to your own children. Or it may be worse for them. I can read these omens myself much better than you can. Birds are always flying about in the sunshine somewhere or other, but they seldom mean anything. Ulysses has died in a far country, and it is a pity you are not dead along with him. Instead of prating, interesting word, prating here about, prating, sorry, it's Prating, prattling here about omens and adding fuel to the anger of Telemachus, which is fierce enough as it is. I suppose you think he will give you something for your family, but I tell you, and it shall surely be, when an old man like you, who should know better, talks a young one over till he becomes troublesome, in the first place his young friend will only fare so much worse. He will take nothing by it, for the suitors will prevent this. And in the next he will lay a heavier fine, sir, upon yourself than you will at all like paying, for it will bear hardly upon you. As for Telemachus, I warn him in the presence of you all to send his mother back to her father, who I will find her a husband and provide her with all the marriage gifts so dear a daughter may expect. Till then we shall go on harassing him with our suit, for we fear no man and care neither for him, with all his fine speeches, nor for any fortune-telling of yours. You may preach as much as you please, but we shall only hate you the more. We shall go back and continue to eat up Telemachus's estate without paying him, till such time as his mother leaves off tormenting us by keeping us day after day on the tiptoe of expectation, each vying with the other in his suit for a prize of such rare perfection. Besides, we cannot go after the other woman whom we should marry in due course, but for the way in which she treats us." I think I lost my step a little bit there, but that's okay. Quick sip, last of the tea. It's getting very cold. Ah, that's the stuff. Ah, my caffeine. Is prat not a fish? A prat or a sprat? Prating, to blabber / talk, talk foolishly. Ah, I see. Was it prating? Like, to be a prat is a term, and then prating as a verb is interesting, but I suppose I could go with it. Prattling makes the most sense, but yeah, prating is also a word. I've just never come across it before. You get your caffeine from tea. I get my caffeine from my 3 cups of coffee that I have every day. And then I switch to tea around 3 o'clock because I can't have coffee too late because then I don't sleep. Because I'm an old lady. Did you guys not know tea does contain caffeine? Like small, like not as much as coffee. Like not nearly as much as coffee, but like tea does have caffeine. It's not rooibos. I only drink rooibos when I'm sick. Otherwise, I drink, I think the brand is Glen. Or like 5 Roses. 5 Roses is nice. Oh, no. Anyway. Okay. I only know prate from a single Stephen Fry quote. 5 Roses is peasant tea. I'm a peasant. I am a peasant. I grew up a peasant. I'm gonna die a peasant. Peasant tea. If 5 Roses is peasant tea, then call me a peasant. Call me revolting. Okay. Then Telemachus said, "Eurymachus and your other suitors, I shall say no more, and entreat you no further, for the gods and the people of Ithaca now know my story. Give me then a ship and a crew of 20 men to take me hither and thither, and I will go to Sparta and to Pylos in quest of my father who has so long been missing. Someone may tell me something, or and people often hear things in this way, some heaven-sent message may direct me. If I can hear of him as alive and on his way home, I will put up with the wastes your suitors will make for yet another 12 months. If, on the other hand, I hear of his death, I will return at once, celebrate his funeral rites with all due pomp, build a barrow to his memory, and make my mother marry again." With these words he sat down, and Mentor, who had been a friend of Ulysses, had been left in charge of everything with full authority over the servants, rose to speak. He then, plainly and in all honesty, addressed them thus. Oh God. "Hear me, men of Ithaca." Okay, no, maybe not. "Hear me, men of Ithaca." That's the same. I only have one old man voice. I'm sorry, I need a minute. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, God. Okay. I can't do a stupid voice because then, like, it's a serious story. I can't give him like a pipsqueak voice. When are you going to start singing the epic musical? I have to have... You were there when I started, and I will not continue. That was it. You get one verse per stream. If this wins a second stream, then I'll sing another verse. Hear me, men of Ithaca. I hope that you may never have a kind and well-disposed ruler any more, nor one who will govern you equitably. I hope that all your chiefs henceforth may be cruel and unjust, for there is not one of you but has forgotten Ulysses, who ruled you as though he were your father. I am not half so angry with the I'm losing the voice. I'm not half so angry with the suitors, for if they choose to do violence in the naughtiness of their hearts and wager their heads that Ulysses will not return, they can take the high hand and eat up his estate. But as for you others, I am shocked at the way in which you all sit without even trying to without even trying to stop such a scandalous goings on, which you could do if you choose, for you are many and they are few. Leocritus, son of Evenor, answered him, saying, Mentor, what folly is all this? That you should set the people to stay us. I'm stuck in the accent now, I'm sorry. Is a hard thing for one man to fight with many about his victuals, even though it's a very fitting voice for the words they're saying. Even though Ulysses himself, if were to sit upon us while we were feasting at his house and do his best to oust us, his wife, who wants him back so very badly, would have small cause for rejoicing, and his blood would be upon his own head if he fought against such great odds. There is no sense in what you have been saying. Now, therefore, do you people go about your business and let his father's old friends, Mentor and Halithes, spend this boy on this journey. Speed this boy on his journey, if he goes at all, which I do not think he will, for he is more likely to stay where he is till someone comes and tells him something. On this he broke up the assembly, and every man went back to his own abode, while the suitors returned to the house of Ulysses. Then Telemachus went all alone by the seaside, washed his hands in the grey waves, and prayed to Minerva. Hear me, he cried, you god who visited me yesterday and bade me sail the seas in search of my father who has so long been missing. I would obey you, but the Achaeans, and more particularly the wicked suitors, are hindering me that I cannot do so. Can we get Sherlock Holmes / Pride and Prejudice in this voice? Oh, I mean, I did a little bit of Wuthering Heights. I did quite a few characters in that voice, I think, or at least one, definitely a couple. Please, sir, may I have some more? Scandus. As he thus prayed, Minerva came close up to him in the likeness and with the voice of Mentor. Telemachus, said she, If you are made of the same stuff as your father, you will be neither fool nor coward henceforward. For Ulysses never broke his word. That is the voice I picked for Mentor, right? Yeah. You will be neither fool nor coward henceforward. For Ulysses never broke his word nor left his work half done. If then you take after him, your voyage will not be fruitless. But unless you have the blood of Ulysses and of Penelope in your veins, I see no likelihood of you succeeding. Sons are seldom as good men as their fathers. They are generally worse, not better. Still, as you are not going to be either fool nor coward henceforward, and are not entirely without some share of your father's wise discernment, I'd look with hope upon your undertaking. But mind you never make common cause with any of those foolish suitors, for they have neither sense nor virtue, and give no thought to death and to the doom that will shortly fall to one of not all of them, so that they shall perish on the same day. As for your voyage, it shall not be long delayed. Your father was such an old friend of mine that I will find you a ship, and will come with you myself. Now, however, return home and go about among the suitors. Begin getting provisions ready for your voyage. See everything well stowed, the wine in jars and the barley meal, which is the staff of life, in leathern bags, while I go around the town and bear up volunteers at once. There are many ships in Ithaca, both old and new. I will run my eye over them for you, and I will choose the best. We will get her ready, and I will put out to sea without delay. Thus spoke Minerva, daughter of Jove, and Telemachus lost no time in doing as the goddess told him. He went moodily home and found the suitors flaying goats and singeing pigs in the outer court. Antinous came up to him at once and laughed as he took his hand in his own, saying, Telemachus, my fine fire-eater, bear no more ill blood, neither in word nor deed. I'm getting British. Neither in word nor deed, but eat and drink with us as you used to. The Achaeans will find you in everything, a ship and a picked crew to boot, so that you can set sail for Pylos at once and get news of your noble father. Antinous, answered Telemachus, I cannot eat in peace, nor take pleasure of any kind with such men as you are. Was it not enough that you should waste so much good property of mine while I was yet a boy? Now that I am older and know more about it, I am also stronger, and whether here among this people or by going to Pylos, I will do you all the harm I can. I shall go, and my going will not be in vain, though, thanks to you suitors, I have neither ship nor crew of my own, and must be passenger, not captain. As he spoke, he snatched his hand from that of Antinous. Meanwhile, the others went on getting dinner ready about the building, jeering at him tauntingly as they did so. Telemachus, said one youngster, means to be the death of us. I suppose he thinks he can bring friends to help him from Pylos, or again from Sparta, where he seems bent on going. Or will he go to Euphra as well, or for poison to put in our wine and kill us? Another said, Perhaps if Telemachus goes on board ship, he will be like his father and perish far from his friends. In this case, we should have plenty to do, for we could then divide up his property amongst us. As for the house, we can let his mother and the man who marries her have that. This was how they talked. But Telemachus went down into the lofty and spacious storeroom where his father's treasure of gold and bronze lay heaped up upon the floor, and where the linen and spare clothes were kept in open chests. Here, too, there was a store of fragrant olive oil, while casks of old, well-ripened wine, unblended and fit for a god to drink, were ranged against the wall in case Ulysses should come home again after all. The room was closed with well-made doors opening in the middle. Moreover, the faithful old housekeeper Euryclea, daughter of Ops the son of Pisenor, was in charge of everything both night and day. Telemachus called her to the storeroom and said, Nurse, draw me off some of the best wine you have, after what you are keeping for my father's own drinking, in case, poor man, he should escape death and find his way home again after all. Let me have 12 jars, and see that they all have lids. Also fill me some well-sewn leather bags with barley meal, about 20 measures in all. Get these things put together at once, and say nothing about it. I will take everything away this evening as soon as my mother has gone upstairs for the night. I am going to Sparta and to Pylos to see if I can hear anything about the return of my dear father." When Euryclea heard this, she began to cry and spoke fondly to him, saying, "My dear child, whatever can have put such a notion as that into your head? Where in the world do you want to go to, you who are the one hope of the house? Your poor father is dead and gone in some foreign country, nobody knows where, and as soon as your back is turned, these wicked ones here will be scheming to get you put out of the way, and will share all of your possessions among themselves. Stay where you are among your own people, and do not go wandering and worrying your life out on the barren ocean." "Fear not, nurse," answered Telemachus. "My scheme is not without heaven's sanction, but swear that you will say nothing about all this to my mother, till I have been away some 10 or 12 days, unless she hears of my having gone and asks you, for I do not want her to spoil her beauty by crying." The old woman swore most solemnly that she would not, and when she had completed her oath, she began drawing off the wine into jars, and getting the barley meal into the bags, while Telemachus went back to the suitors. Then Minerva bethought her of another matter. She took his shape and went around the town to each one of the crew, telling them to meet at the ship by sundown. She went also to Noman, son of Phronius, and asked him to let her have a ship, which she was very ready to do. When the sun had set and darkness was over all the land, she got the ship into the water, put all the tackle on board her that ships generally carry, and stationed her at the end of the harbour. Presently the crew came up, and the goddess spoke encouragingly to each of them. Furthermore, she went to the house of Ulysses, and threw the suitors into a deep slumber. She caused their drink to fuddle them, and made them drop their cups from their hands, so that instead of sitting over their wine, they went back into the town to sleep, with their eyes heavy and full of drowsiness. Then she took the form and voice of Mentor, and called Telemachus to come outside. Outside. "Telemachus," said she, "the men are on board and at their oars, waiting for you to give your orders, so make haste and let us be off." On this she led the way, while Telemachus followed in her steps. When they got to the ship, they found the crew waiting by the waterside, and Telemachus said, "Now, my men, help me to get the stores on board. They are all put together in the cloister, and my mother does not know anything about it, nor any of the maidservants except one." Another break. I'm mixing my words again. I don't like that the mic can very clearly show that you can hear me swallow. I don't like that at all. No, I don't like that at all. That's terrifying. Whatever you do, don't clip that. Can we feed your book to AI? I would rather kill you, actually, with my bare hands. No, thank you. Afrikaans Cyclops, please! Yeah, if we get there. We might get there. I think we'll get there. We might get there. I don't know if I can do an Afrikaans accent, though. I'm kind of bad at it. Oh, hang on. I can't cough on camera with the mic. I'll blow it out. Okay, I'm done. I wish when I turned the mic on and off on OBS, it did like the Discord, like on turning the mic on and off noise. I think that would be funnier. It's okay to say ASMR. Oh god. It's terrible. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I should go back to the doctor. I feel like I'm like coughing more. It could just be because it's winter and I might be getting sick. I hope it's that one and not the lung infection returns. That would be terrible. Connor Klops, oh my god. Another show of how violent she is. Yeah, Phoenix. Yeah. Okay. I've lost my place completely. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we are. With these words he led the way, and the others followed after. When they had brought the things as he told them, Telemachus went on board, Minerva going before him and taking her seat in the stern of the vessel, while Telemachus sat beside her. Then the men loosened the horses and took their places on the benches. Minerva sent them a fair wind from the west that whistled over the deep blue waves, whereon Telemachus told them to catch hold of the ropes and hoist sail, and they did as he told them. They set the mast in its socket for the cross plank, raised it, and made it fast with the forestays. Then they hoisted their white sails aloft with ropes of twisted oxhide. As the sail bellied out with the wind, the ship flew through the deep blue water, and the foam hissed against her bows as she sped onwards. Then they made all fast throughout the ship, filled the mixing bowls to the brim, and made drink offerings to the immortal gods that are from everlasting, but more particularly to the grey-eyed daughter of Jove. Thus then the ship sped on her way through the watches of the night from dark until dawn. And that's the end of book 2. Oh, I didn't realize it was so close. Oh, I could have just read one more paragraph and I would have been done. Dang it. Okay. Water has been consumed. Are you guys drinking water? You should be drinking water. Anyways, don't worry about that. Are you in a bunker? Why are you hiding your books from our needy data centers? No! Bro, so lazy. Anyway, book 3. Telemachus visits Nestor at Pylos. But as the sun was rising from the fair sea into the firmament of heaven to shed light on mortals and immortals, they reached Pylos in the city of Neleus. Lots of immortal references here. This is quite fun. Now the people of Pylos were gathered on the seashore to offer sacrifice of black bulls to Neptune, lord of the earthquake. There were 9 guilds with 500 men in each, and there were 9 bulls to each guild. As they were eating the inward meats and burning the thigh bones on the embers in the name of Neptune, Telemachus and his crew arrived, furled their sails, brought their ship to anchor, and went ashore. Minerva led the way, and Telemachus followed her. Presently she said, "Telemachus, you must not be in the least shy nor nervous. You have taken this voyage to try and find out where your father is buried and how he came by his end. So go straight up to Nestor, that we may see what he has got to tell us. Beg of him to speak the truth, and he will tell no lies, for he is an excellent person." "But how, Mentor?" replied Telemachus. "Dare I go up to Nestor? And how am I to address him? I have never yet been used to holding long conversations with people, and am ashamed to begin questioning one who is so much older than myself." "Some things, Telemachus," answered Minerva, "will be suggested to you by your own instinct, and heaven will prompt you further, for I am assured that the gods have been with you from the time of your birth until now." She then went quickly on, and Telemachus followed in her steps till they reached the place where the guilds of the Pylian people were assembled. There they found Nestor sitting with his sons, while his company round him were busy getting dinner ready, and putting pieces of meat onto the spits while other pieces were cooking. When they saw the strangers, they crowded round them, took them by the hand, and bade them take their places. Nestor's son Pisistratus that took me a minute. Pisistratus at once offered his hand to each of them, and seated them on some soft sheepskins that were lying on the sands near his father and his brother Thrasymedes. I have to be pronouncing like maybe 20% of these correctly, by the way. I am not confident in my success rate. Then he gave them their portions of the inward meals and poured wine for them into a golden cup, handing it to Minerva first and saluting her at the same time. Offer a... Ooh, what voice should he have? Offer a prayer, sir. No, that's the evil voice. A really low accent. Oh, I'll ruin my voice if I try to give him like a gravelly voice. Offer a prayer, sir, said he, to King Neptune, for it is his feast that you are joining. When you have duly prayed and made your drink offering, pass the cup to your friend, that he may do so also. I doubt not that he too lifts his hands in prayer, for man cannot live without God in the world. Still, he is younger than you are, and so much of an age with myself, so I will give you the precedence." As he spoke, he handed her the cup. Minerva thought it very right and proper of him to have given it to herself first. She accordingly began praying heartily to Neptune. "O thou," she cried, "that encirclest the earth, vouchsafe to grant the prayers of thy servants that called upon thee. More especially we pray thee send down thy grace on Nestor and on his sons. Therefore also make the rest of the Pylian people some handsome return for the goodly hecatomb they are offering you. Lastly, grant Telemachus and myself a happy issue in respect of the matter that has brought us in our ship to Pylos." When she had thus made an end of praying, she handed the cup sorry. When she had thus made an end of praying, she handed the cup oh my god, to Telemachus, and he prayed likewise. By and by, when the outer meats were roasted and had been taken off the spits, the carvers gave every man his portion, and they all made an excellent dinner. As soon as they had had enough to eat and drink, Nestor, knight of Gerene, began to speak. "Now," said he, "that our guests have done their dinner, it will be best to ask them who they are. Who then, sir strangers, are you, and from what port have you sailed? Are you traders, or do you sail the seas as rovers with your hand against every man, and every man's hand against yours?" Telemachus answered boldly, for Minerva had given him courage to ask about his father and get himself a good name. "Nestor," said he, "son of Neleus, honour to the Achaean name. You ask whence we come, and I will tell you. We come from Ithaca under Neritum, and the matter about which I would speak is of private, not public import. I seek news of my unhappy father Ulysses, who is said to have sacked the town of Troy in company with yourself. We know what fate befell each one of the other heroes who fought at Troy, but as regards Ulysses, heaven has hidden from us the knowledge even that he is dead at all. No one can certify for us in what place he perished, nor say whether he fell in battle on the mainland, or was lost at sea amid the waves of Amphitrite. Therefore I am suppliant at your knees. If haply you may be pleased to tell me of his melancholy end, whether you saw it with your own eyes or heard of it from some other traveller, for he was a man born to trouble. Do not soften things out of pity for me, but tell me in all plainness exactly what you saw. If my brave father Ulysses ever did you loyal service, either by word or deed, when you Achaeans were harassed among the Trojans, bear in mind now as in my favour, and tell me truly all." My friend, answered Nestor. I'm regretting so many things. "You recall a time of much sorrow to my mind, for the brave Achaeans suffered much both at sea, while privateering under Achilles, and when fighting before the great city of King Priam. Our best men, all of them fell there. Ajax, Achilles, Patroclus, peer of gods in council, and my own dear son Antilochus, a man singularly fleet of foot and in fight valiant. But we suffered much more than this. What mortal tongue indeed could tell the whole story? Though you were to stay here and question me for 5 years or even 6, I could not tell you all that the Achaeans suffered, and you would turn homeward weary of my tale before it ended. 9 long years did we try every kind of stratagem, but the hand of heaven was against us. During all this time there was no one who could compare with your father in subtlety, if indeed you are his son. I can hardly believe my eyes, as you talk just like him too. No one would say that people of such different ages could speak so much alike. He and I never had any kind of differences, from first to last, neither in camp nor council. But in singleness of heart and in purpose we advised the Argives how all might be ordered for the best. Then, however, we had sacked the city of Priam, and were setting sail in our ships as heaven had dispersed us. Then Jove saw fit to vex the Argives on their homeward voyage, for they had not all been either wise or understanding, and hence many came to a bad end through the displeasure of Jove's daughter Minerva, who brought about a quarrel between the 2 sons of Atreus. The sons of Atreus, Sons of Atreus called a meeting, which was not as it should be, for it was sunset and the Achaeans were heavy with wine. Then they explained why they had called the people together. It seemed that Menelaus was for sailing homeward at once, and this displeased Agamemnon, who thought that we should wait till we had offered hecatombs to appease the anger of Minerva. Fool that he was, he might have known that he would not prevail with her, for when the gods have made up their minds, they do not change them lightly. I feel like I'm going in and out of the British accent. I do apologize. So the two stood by, bandying hard words. Whereon the Achaeans sprang to their feet with a cry that rent the air, and were of two minds as to what they should do. That night we rested and nursed our anger, for Jove was hatching mischief against us. But in the morning some of us drew our ships into the water and put our goods with our women on board, while the rest, about half in number, stayed behind with Agamemnon. We, the other half, embarked and sailed, and the ships were well, for heaven had smoothed the sea. When we reached Tenedos, we offered sacrifices to the gods, for we were longing to get home. Cruel Jove, however, did not yet mean that we should do so, and raised a second quarrel, in the course of which some among us turned their ships back again, and sailed away under Ulysses to make their peace with Agamemnon. But I and all the ships that were with me pressed forward, for I saw that mischief was brewing. The son of Tydeus went on also with me, and his crews with him. Later on, Menelaus joined us at Lesbos. Hey, Lesbos mentioned. And found us making up our minds about our courts, for we did not know whether to go outside Chios on the island Chios by the island of of Syra, keeping this to our left, or inside Chios, over against the stormy headland of Mimas. So we asked heaven for a sign, and were shown one to the effect that we should be soonest out of danger if we headed our ships across the open sea to Euboea. You get it. This we therefore did, and a fair wind sprang up, which gave us quick passage during the night to Geraestus, where we offered many sacrifices to Neptune for having helped us so far on our way. 4 days later, Diomed and his men stationed their ships in Argos. But I held on for Pylos, and the wind never fell light from the day when heaven first made it fair for me. Therefore, my dear young friend, I returned without hearing anything about the others. I know neither who got home safely nor who were lost, but as in duty bound, I will give you without reserve the reports that may have reached me since I have been here in my own house. They say the Myrmidons returned home safely under Achilles' son Neoptolemus. So also did the valiant son of Pius, Philoctetes. Idomeneus again lost no men at sea, and all his followers who escaped death in the field got safe home with him to Crete. No matter how far out of the world you live, you will have heard of Agamemnon and the bad end he came to at the hands of Aegisthus, and a fearful reckoning did Aegisthus presently pay. See what a good thing it is for a man to leave a son behind him to do as Orestes did, who killed false Aegisthus, the murderer of his noble father. You too, then, for you are a tall, smart-looking fellow, show your mettle and make yourself a name in story. Hoi, I didn't realize he would... I should have known he would talk for so long. Why did I pick that voice? Why did they go to Uri Island? It was just a stop along the way. Everyone should go to Uri Island. It's a must-go destination. Nestor, son of Neleus, answered Telemachus. Honor to the Achaean name. The Achaeans applaud Orestes, and his name will live through all time, for he has avenged his father nobly. Would that heaven might grant me to do like vengeance on the insolence of the wicked suitors, who are ill-treating me and plotting my ruin. But the gods have no such happiness in store for me and for my father, so we must bear it as best we may. My friend, said Nestor, now that you remind me, I remember to have heard that your mother has had many suitors who are ill-disposed towards you and are making havoc of your estate. Do you submit to this tamely, or are public feeling and the voice of heaven against you? Who knows but what Ulysses may come back after all, and pay these scoundrels in full, either single-handed or with a force of Achaeans behind him. If Minerva were to take a greater liking to you as she did to Ulysses when we were fighting before Troy, for I never yet saw the gods so openly fond of anyone as Minerva when was of your father. If she would take a good care of you as she did him, those wooers would soon, some of them, forget their wooing. Telemachus answered, I can expect nothing of the kind. It would be far too much to hope for. I dare not let myself think of it. Even though the gods themselves willed it, no such good fortune could befall me. Oh, I know the scene went hard in ancient Greece. Everyone's like, oh my god, but she's right there, she's right there, she's right there. Oh my god, she's next to you, Telemachus. Telemachus, this is crazy. I know what you're saying, but like, she's right there. I'm sorry. I really like imagining ancient Greek fandom. Like, ancient Greek fandom culture must have been so fun. Because, like, you're in a room with people and they're all, like, excited. And they know what you're talking about. Sorry, I'm getting so distracted and I'm not making a lot of sense. What are you guys talking about? You guys aren't nearly as invested in the story as I am. Fandom culture in ancient Greece. There's always been fandom culture. You think Shakespeare didn't have a fandom? Like, in the age when he was... there was nobility that was commissioning fanfics off of him when he was alive. I'm highly, like, it's something I read online briefly once. I might be wrong, but like, story about some member of the nobility liking his writing so much and like his characters so much that I think they commissioned a piece off of him about those characters, which I think is amazing. Anyway, stop tumblerizing my history. No, I will never. Shush, shush, shush. I'm carrying on. Shush, shush, shush. Everyone, shush, shush, shush. Shush. On this, Minerva said, Telemachus, what are you talking about? Heaven has a long arm if it is minded to save a man. And if it were me... Oh, right, sorry, the voice. On this, Minerva said, Telemachus, what are you talking about? Heaven has a long arm if it is minded to save a man. And if it were me, I should not care how much I suffered before getting home, provided I could be safe when I was once there. I would rather this than get home quickly and then be killed in my own house as Agamemnon was by the treachery of Aegisthus and his wife. Still, death is certain. Death is certain. And when a man's hour has come, not even the gods can save him, no matter how fond they are of him. Mentor, answered Telemachus, do not let us talk about it any more. There is no chance of my father's ever coming back. The gods have long since counselled his destruction. There is something else, however, about which I should like to ask Nestor, for he knows so much more than anyone else does. They say he has reigned for 3 generations, so that it is like talking to an immortal. Tell me, therefore, Nestor, and tell me true, how did Agamemnon come to die in that way? What was Menelaus doing, and how came false Aegisthus to kill so far better a man than himself? Was Menelaus away from Achaean Argos, voyaging elsewhere among mankind, that Aegisthus took heart and killed Agamemnon? I will tell you truly, answered Nestor, and indeed you have yourself divined how it all happened. If Menelaus, when he got back from Troy, had found Aegisthus still alive in his house, there would have been no barrow heaped up for him, not even when he was dead. But he would have been thrown outside the city to dogs and vultures, and not a woman would have mourned him, for he had done a deed of great wickedness. But we were over there, fighting hard at Troy, and Aegisthus, who was taking his ease quietly in the heart of Argos, cajoled Agamemnon's wife Clytemnestra with incessant flattery. At first she would have nothing to do with his wicked scheme, for she was of a good-natured disposition. Moreover, there was a bard with her, to whom Agamemnon had given strict orders on setting out for Troy, that he was to keep guard over his wife. But when heaven had counselled her destruction, Aegisthus carried this bard off to a desert island and left him there for crows and seagulls to batten upon which she went willingly enough to the house of Aegisthus. Then he offered many burnt sacrifices to the gods, and decorated many temples with tapestries and I'm sure that's nothing. After which she went willingly enough to the house of Aegisthus. Then he offered many burnt sacrifices to the gods and decorated many temples with tapestries and gilding, for he had succeeded far beyond his expectations. Meanwhile, Menelaus and I were on our way home from Troy, on good terms with one another. Then, when we got to Sunium, which is the point of Athens, Apollo with his painless shafts killed Phrontis, the steersman of Menelaus' ship, and never man knew better how to handle a vessel in rough weather, so that he died then and there with the helm in his hand, and Menelaus, though very anxious to press forward, had to wait in order to bury his comrade and give him his due funeral rites. Presently, when he too could put to sea again, and had sailed on as far as the Malayan heads... Sorry. Give me a sec. Okay. Jove counselled evil against him and made it blow hard till the waves ran mountains high. Here he divided his fleet and took the one half towards Crete, where the Sidonians dwell round about the waters of the river Iardanus. There is a high headlands thereabouts, stretching out into the sea from a place called Gortyn, and all along this part of the coast as far as Phaestus the sea runs high where there is a south wind blowing, but after Phaestus the coast is more protected, for a small headland can make a great shelter. Here this part of the fleet was driven on to the rocks and wrecked. But the crews just managed to save themselves. As for the other 5 ships, they were taken by winds and seas to Egypt, where Menelaus gathered much gold and substance among people of an alien speech. Meanwhile, Aegisthus here at home plotted his evil deed. For 7 years after he had killed Agamemnon, he ruled in Mycene, and the people were obedient unto him. But in the 8th year Orestes came back from Athens to be his bane, and killed the murderer of his father. Then he celebrated the funeral rites of his mother and of false Aegisthus by a banquet to the people of Argos. And on that very day Menelaus came home, with as much treasure as his ships could carry. Take my advice then, and do not go travelling about for long so far from home, nor leave your property with such dangerous people in your house. They will eat up everything you have among them, and you will have been on a fool's errand. Still, I should advise you by all means to go and visit Menelaus, who has lately come off a voyage among such distant peoples as no man could ever hope to get back from. When the winds had once carried him so far out of his reckoning, even birds cannot fly the distance in a 12-month. So vast and terrible are the seas that they must cross. Go to him, therefore, by sea, and take your own men with you. Or if you would rather travel by land, you can have a chariot. You can have horses, and here are my sons who can escort you to Lacedaemon, where Menelaus lives. Beg of him to speak the truth, and he will tell you no lies, for he is an excellent person. As he spoke, the sun set, and it came on dark. Sorry. Dark, you say? Time to yawn. Whereon Minerva said, Sir, all that you have said is well. Now, however, order the tongues of the victims to be cut, and mix wine that we may have drink offerings to Neptune and the other immortals, and then go to bed, for it is bedtime. People should go away early and not keep late hours at a religious festival. Guys, it's bedtime. Guys, we should go to bed. Sorry, I don't know why that's so funny to me. Thematic yawn, yeah. Thus spoke the daughter of Jove, and they... with a yawn. And they obeyed her, saying, Men servants poured water over the hands of the guests, while pages filled the mixing bowls with wine and water, and handed it round after giving every man his drink offering. Then they threw the tongues of the victims into the fire, and stood up to make their drink offerings. When they had made their offerings, and had drunk each as much as he was minded, Minerva and Telemachus were for going on board their ship. But Nestor caught them up at once, and stayed them. Heaven and immortal gods, he exclaimed, forbid that you should leave my house to go on board of a ship. Do you think I am so poor and short of clothes, or that I have so few cloaks, as to be made unable to find comfortable beds both for myself and for my guests? Let me tell you, I have store both of rugs and cloaks, and shall not permit the son of my old friend Ulysses to camp down on the deck of a ship, not while I live, nor yet will my sons after me, but they will keep open house as I have done. Then Minerva answered, Sir, you have spoken well, and will be much better than Telemachus should do, as you have said. He therefore shall return He therefore shall return with you and sleep at your house, but I must go back to give orders to my crew, and keep them in good heart. I am the only older person among them. The rest are all young men of Telemachus' own age, who have taken this voyage out of friendship. So I must return to the ship and sleep there. Moreover, tomorrow I must go to the Chersonians, where I have a large sum of money long owing to me. As for Telemachus, now that he is your guest, send him to Lacedaemon in a chariot, and let one of your sons go with him. Be pleased to also provide him with your best and fleetest horses. When she had thus spoken, she flew away in the form of an eagle, and all marveled as they beheld it. Sorry, I wasn't expecting it. Nestor was astonished, and took Telemachus by the hand. "My friend," said he, "I see that you are going to be a great hero some day, since the gods wait upon you thus while you are still so young. This can have been none other than those who dwell in heaven than Jove's redoubtable daughter, the Trito-born, who shewed such favour towards your brave father among the Argives. Holy queen," he continued, "vouchsafe to endow thy grace upon myself, my good wife, and my children. In return I will offer you in sacrifice a broad-bowed heifer of a year old, unbroken and never yet brought by man under the yoke. I will gild her horns, and I will offer her up to you in sacrifice." Thus did he pray, and Minerva heard his prayer. He then led the way to his own house, followed by his sons and son-in-law. When they had got there and had taken their places on the benches and seats, he mixed them a bowl of sweet wine that was 11 years old, when the housekeeper took the lid off the jar that held it. As he mixed the wine, he prayed much and made drink offerings to Minerva, daughter of Aegis-bearing Jove. Then, when they had made their drink offerings and had drunk each as much as he was minded, the others went home to bed, each in his own abode. But Nestor put Telemachus to sleep in the room that was over the gateway, along with Pisistratus, her sister, who was the only unmarried son now left him. As for himself, he slept in an inner room of the house, with the queen, his wife, by his side. Now when the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn, appeared... it's his title. No. No, it is not. That made sense for 3 seconds, and I actually thought about it. I could go for 11 years old wine right now. Yeah. Actually, no. What would that taste like? It would taste bad. Wine tastes bad. I'm sorry. I have to come out and say it. I have to be honest. I have to live my truth. Maybe it's just that I'm not drinking the right wines, but like, wine tastes bad. Red wine is so bad I actually can't drink it. White wine is bad, but like I can bear it sometimes. Rosé is fine because it's sweet, but like, vinegar. Hannah, no, you are not a wine mom. One day I'll be a wine mom, and then I'll show you all. Everyone is free to have bad taste. Oh, okay, well, there you go. Well. Okay. Okay. And we carry on. Oh, we're near the end of the book. Okay, we're fine. One more sprint. Now when the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn appeared, Nestor left his couch and took a seat on the benches of white and polished marble that stood in front of his house. Here aforetime sat Neleus, peer of gods in council, but he was now dead, and had gone to the house of Hades. So Nestor sat in the seat, scepter in hand, as guardian of the public weal. His sons, as they left their rooms, gathered around him. Etephron, Stratius, Perseus, Aratus, and Thrasymedes. The sixth son was Pisistratus. And when Telemachus joined them, they made him sit with them. Nestor then addressed them. "My sons," said he, "make haste to do as I shall bid you. I wish first and foremost to propitiate the great goddess Minerva, who manifested herself visibly to me during yesterday's festivities. Go then, one or other of you, to the plain. Tell the stockman to look me out a heifer and come on here with it at once. Another must go to Telemachus's ship and invite all the crew, leaving 2 men only in charge of the vessel. Someone else will run and fetch Lazarus the goldsmith to gild the horns of the heifer. The rest, stay all of you where you are. Tell the maids in the house to prepare an excellent dinner and to fetch seats and logs of wood for a burnt offering. Tell them also to bring me some clear spring water. On this day they hurried off on their several errands. The heifer was brought in from the plain, and Telemachus's crew came from the ship. The goldsmith brought the anvil, the hammer and tongs with which he worked his gold, and Minerva herself came to accept the sacrifice. Nestor gave out the gold, and the smith gilded the horns of the heifer that the goddess might have pleasure in their beauty. Then Stratius and Echephron brought her in by the horns. Aratus fetched water from the house in an ewer that had a flower pattern on it, and in his other hand he held a basket of barley meal. Sturdy Thrasymedes stood by with a sharp axe, ready to strike the heifer, while Perseus held a bucket. Then Nestor began with washing his hands and sprinkling the barley meal, and he offered many a prayer to Minerva as he threw a lock from the heifer's head upon the fire. When they had done praying and sprinkling the barley meal, Thrasymedes dealt his blow, and brought the heifer down with a stroke that cut through the tendons at the base of her neck. Whereon the daughters-in-law of Nestor and his venerable wife Eurydice, she was the eldest daughter to Clymenus, screamed with delight. Then they Eurydice. Then they lifted the heifer's head from off the ground, and Pisistratus cut her throat. When she had done bleeding and was quite dead, they cut her up. They cut out the thigh bones all in due course, wrapped them round in 2 layers of fat, and set some pieces of raw meat on the top of them. Then Nestor laid them upon the wood fire and poured wine over them, while the young men stood near him with 5-pronged spits in their hands. When the thighs were burnt and they had tasted the inward meats, they cut the rest of the meat up small, put the pieces on the spits, and toasted them over the fire. Meanwhile, lovely Polycaste, Nestor's youngest daughter, washed Telemachus. When she had washed him and anointed him with oil, she brought him a fair mantle and shirt, and he looked like a god as he came from the bath and took his seat by the side of Nestor. When the outer meats were done, they drew them off the spits and sat down to dinner, where they were waited upon by some worthy henchmen, who kept pouring them out their wine in cups of gold. As soon as they had had enough to eat and drink, Nestor said, "Sons, put Telemachus' horses to the chariot, that he may start at once." Thus did he speak, and they did even as he had said, and yoked the fleet horses to the chariot. The housekeeper packed them up a provision of bread, wine, and sweet meals fit for the sons of princes. Then Telemachus got into the chariot, while Pisistratus gathered up the reins and took a seat beside him. He lashed the horses on, and they flew forward, nothing loth into the open country. Nothing loth? L-O-T-H. Into the open country, leaving the high citadel of Pylos behind them. All that day did they travel, swaying the yoke upon their necks till the sun went down and darkness was over all the land. Then they reached Pherae, where Diocles lived, who was son to Ortilochus and grandson to Alpheus. Here they passed the night, and Diocles entertained them hospitably. Then, when the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn, appeared, they again yoked their horses and drove out through the gateway under the echoing gatehouse. Pisistratus lashed the horses on, and they flew forward, nothing loth. Sloth. Presently they came to the cornlands of the open country, and in the course of time... Cornlands? Would they have had corn? Sorry. that completely derailed me. Presently they came to the cornlands of the open country, and in the course of time completed their journey, so well did their steeds take them. Now when the sun had set and darkness was over the land. Oh, okay, that was formatted strangely. Okay, sorry, that's the first sentence of the next chapter. Anyway, that's the end of book 3. The ritual cookout seems nice, yeah. Not maize, yeah. Corn as in grains? Yeah, they must mean that, yeah. They mean grain in general, yeah. Corn in old time means Old times means grain? Really? That's pretty cool. Corn etymology. Oh, okay. A single seed of a cereal plant. Corn means rye in parts of Germany. It just means grain. Okay. That's really cool. I had no idea. Okay, so just like general like farmland. That's cool. I like that. That's a nice thing to learn. The world building sucks. That's this is just like my biggest fear of writing book. And then people say book language bad, and then I cry. Sorry, there was a bit of a long pause there. My brain's a bit fried. I think I need a minute. Quick 10-minute break, and then I think we'll finish up book 4. And then I think after book 4, we've got the actual start of the story. Well, not really. Kind of, technically. We're still in a bit of a weird place chronologically, but we are going to be, like, we'll meet Ulysses / Odysseus in book 5. So we just got to get through book 4, and then we'll be okay. Okay. Your comic is fantastic. I think I'll read it next week. Yeah, it's coming out next week. Actually, I should probably put up links and stuff. That's something I need to do. That's something I need to do immediately. That's something I need to do right now. Yeah. The feel weird. Yeah. No Afrikaans Cyclops. We're not going to get to Polyphemus. That's unfortunate. 2 weeks. Is it not? Oh, it is. It's just over a week. It's Monday the 7th. So this Monday coming is the 31st, and then the Monday after that is the 7th, and that is when the comic come out in public domain. It's not public domain, but in public access. Let's not screw myself over immediately. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. And then and then there'll be a new part on the Patreon that will be completely a secret, unless you're on the spoilers channel on the Discord. Yeah, my brain's still fried. I'm not making any sense. I'm sorry. But yeah, no. I don't know why just reading aloud fries my brain so badly. I really do. Like, I feel like I can't form sentences anymore. I drink water. It fuels the mind. Where will it release on? Excellent question. So the comic is going to be coming out on Webtoon Canvas, Tapaz, Global Comics, and Namikomi. There will be a proper post. There'll be a proper link for it. If I have the time, I want to make a video announcement and put that properly like up on YouTube. Have like a big release announcement for it. I have unfortunately once again timed things poorly, so I might end up spending more time than I thought I would prepping for the World Building Festival instead, which is happening the weekend before the release, which is a little bit unfortunate. But if I can, I'll see if I can get everything ready in time and then just have a very smooth rollout. Regardless, the first part's definitely coming out. It's already set. It's already scheduled. It will be coming out 6 p.m. SAST, so like South African time. It's going to be 6 p.m. I believe that means it's going to be... I can't do time zones in my brain. I don't know, do the math. SAST, 6 p.m. on the 7th. Will there be a... Sorry. Will there be immortals in Immortal? You know, I'm still kind of on the fence about that. I don't want to, like, make the world too magical, so, like, I don't really know. Yeah. There will be immortals in Immortal. At the moment, just one immortal in Immortal. Is Tala's voice high or low? Is it gravelly because she's a hardened Stone Age woman? Eh. Probably medium? It depends on who she's talking to. Hours behind, hours ahead. Oh no. Oh, hi, SC Pilot. Hi, Pasta La Vista. SAST is +1 CET. Yeah, it's GMT +2 as well. That's the one I know it by, at least. Hang on, yeah. The USA has 2 time zones, doesn't it? So that'll be... If I do 6 p.m? So it'll be 12 o'clock midday for EST. And then isn't there a second one? So there's EST and then EDT is 6 hours behind, so it'll be 1 p.m. EDT. And then Brazilian time. This is just me converting every time into times. Brasilia is 5 hours behind SAST, so it's going to be 1 p.m. in the afternoon, I believe, in Brazil. Tala's voice is mid-confirmed. We're actually up to 3 immortals in Immortal. Hamburger and Xanthem. Oh, you're so right. You're so right. You're so right. Okay. So, I will say now, Hamburger and Xanthem are not canon. They exist in our hearts and they exist in the future, but they are not canon. They are outside canon. Oh, CET turned out to not be what I thought, so let's use +2 GMT. Yeah, that's a good one. Don't the US have like 4 or 5? I don't know. I think it's 2, but I've been wrong before. The US is kind of a mystery to me when it comes to time zones. Oh, it does. Okay, so Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific time. And then, of course, Alaska, Hawaii are completely different. Damn, that's crazy. You guys should fix that. What's the point of all the daylight savings if your times are all so different? That's crazy. Will there be cannons in Immortal? Not for a very long time. Will the comic feature occasional subplot breaks with the antics of the Immortal Trilobites? I would love that. I don't think I have the time for that. I'm sorry. That's a little bit... That's gonna be like a half-week-long detour if I end up doing that. I'm sorry. Can you use Martian time? Unfortunately not. Will you narrate the comics once they're long enough? I don't think so. I don't think I have the guts for that one. I'm sorry. I can do a silly voice for the Odyssey. I cannot do a silly voice for the stuff that I wrote. I will cringe out of existence. I'm sorry, Timothy. Is Immortal woke? Currently Immortal is asleep, but yeah, okay. Yeah, sure, that too. Mountain and PST are the same? Ah, okay. Does Tala sleep? Yeah. Yeah. If she doesn't have her depression naps, what will she have? Guys, that joke's gonna be so funny in like 3 years when the comic's out. when that specific part of the comic is out. I can't make jokes, it's all so far in the future. Okay. Let us continue into book 4. The visit to King Menelaus, who tells his story. Meanwhile, the suitors in Ithaca plot against Telemachus. Stop spoiling your comic, dude. No, I will not. It's mine. Adrian, I'll try and make a comic dub for the 8th if that's okay. That sounds perfect. You can do whatever you like. It is all out of my hands, and actually I would be very interested to see how that looks. I think that'd be very cool. Should you want to, and should you choose to, and all the caveats that come with that. Okay. They reached the low-lying city of Lacedaemon, where they drove straight to the abode of Menelaus, and found him in his own house, feasting with his many clansmen in honor of the wedding of his son, and also of his daughter, whom he was marrying to the son of that valiant warrior Achilles. Huh. That's a bit interesting. He had given his consent and promised her to him while he was still at Troy, and now the gods were bringing the marriage about. So he was sending her with chariots and horses to the city of the Myrmidons over whom Achilles' son was reigning. For his only son he had found a bride from Sparta, the daughter of Elector. This son, Megapenthes, was born to him of a bondwoman, for heaven vouchsafed Helen no more children after she had borne Hermione, whom was fair as golden Venus herself. So the neighbours and kinsmen of Menelaus were feasting and making merry in his house. There was a bard also to sing to them and play his lyre, while 2 tumblers went about performing in the midst of them when the man struck up with his tune. Telemachus and the son of Nestor stayed their horses at the gate, whereon Etonius, servant to Menelaus, came out, and as soon as he saw them, ran hurrying back into the house to tell his master. He went close up to him and said, "Menelaus, there are some strangers come here, 2 men who look like sons of Jove. What are we to do? Shall we take their horses out, or tell them to find friends elsewhere as they best can?" Menelaus was very angry and said, "Etonius, son of Botheus, you never used to be a fool." Oh, right, I should give him a voice. Etonius, son of Botheus. It's the same voice, just at different pitches. Sorry, pitches. Sorry. Etonius, son of Botheus, you never used to be a fool, but now you talk like a simpleton. Take their horses out, of course, and show the strangers in that they may have supper. You and I have stayed often enough at other people's houses before we got back here, where heaven grant that we may rest in peace henceforthward. So Etonius bustled back and bade the other servants come with him. They took their sweating steeds from under the yoke, made them fast to the mangers, and gave them a feed of oats and barley mixed. Then they leaned the chariot against the end wall of the courtyard, and led the way into the house. Telemachus and Pisistratus were astonished when they saw it, for its splendor was that of the sun and moon. Then, when they had admired everything to their heart's content, they went to the bathroom and washed themselves. When the servants had washed them and anointed them with oil, they brought them woolen cloaks and shirts, and the 2 took their seats by the tide of Menelaus. A maidservant brought them water in a beautiful golden ewer, and poured it into a silver basin for them to wash their hands, and she drew a clean table beside them. An upper servant brought them bread, and offered them many good things of what there was in the house, while the carver fetched them plates of all manner of meats, and set cups of gold by their side. Menelaus then greeted them, saying, "Fall to, and welcome. When you have done supper, I shall ask who you are, for the lineage of such men as you cannot have been lost. You must be descended from a line of sceptre-bearing kings, for poor people do not have such sons as you are." On this he handed them a piece of fat roast loin, which had been set near him as being a prime part, and they laid their hands on the good things that were before them. As soon as they had had enough to eat and drink, Telemachus said to the son of Nestor, as with his head so close that no one might hear, "Look, Pisistratus, man after my own heart, see the gleam of bronze and gold, of amber, ivory, and silver. Everything is so splendid that it is like seeing the palace of Olympian Jove. I am lost in admiration." Menelaus overheard him and said, "Not one, my sons, can hold his own with Jove, for his house and everything about him is immortal. But among mortal men, well, there may be another who has as much wealth as I have, or there may not. But at all events I have travelled much and have undergone much hardship, for it was nearly 8 years before I could get home with my fleet. I went to Cyprus, Phoenicia, and the Egyptians. I went also to the Ethiopians, the Sidonians, and the Arembians, and to Libya, where the lambs have horns as soon as they are born, and the sheep lamb down 3 times a year. Every one in that country, whether master or man, has plenty of cheese, meat, and good milk, for the ewes yield all the year round. But while I was travelling and getting great riches among these people, my brother was secretly and shockingly murdered through the perfidy of his wicked wife. Through the perfidy of his wicked wife, so that I may have no pleasure in being lord of all this wealth. Whoever your parents may be, they must have told you all about this, and of my heavy loss in the ruin of a stately mansion fully and magnificently furnished. Would that I had only a third of what I have now, so that I had stayed at home, and all those were living who perished on the plain of Troy, far from Argos. I often grieve as I sit here in my house, for one and all of them. At times I cry aloud for sorrow, but presently I leave off again, for crying is cold comfort, and one soon tires of it. Yet grieve for these as I may, I do so for one man more than for them all. I cannot even think of him without loathing both food and sleep, so miserable does he make me. For no one of all the Achaeans worked so hard or risked so much as he did. He took nothing by it, and has left a legacy of sorrow to myself, for he has been gone a long time, and we know not whether he is alive or dead. His old father, his long-suffering wife Penelope, and his son Telemachus, whom he left behind him an infant in arms, are plunged in grief on his account." Thus spoke Menelaus. I didn't give him the voice that time. Oh well. Ah, no. Thus spoke Menelaus, and the heart of Telemachus yearned as he bethought him of his father. Tears fell from his eyes as he heard him thus mentioned, so that he held his cloak before his face with both hands. When Menelaus saw this, he doubted whether to let him choose his own time for speaking, or to ask him at once and find what it was all about. While he was thus in 2 minds, Helen came down from her high-vaulted and perfumed room, looking as lovely as Diana herself. Adrost brought her a seat, Alkip a soft woolen rug, while Philo fetched her the silver workbox which Alcandra, wife of Polybus, had given her. Polybus lived in Egyptian Thebes, which is the richest city in the whole world. He gave Menelaus 2 baths, both of pure silver, 2 tripods, and 10 talents of gold. Besides all this, his wife gave Helen some beautiful presents, to wit, a golden distaff and a silver workbox that ran on wheels, with a gold band round the top of it. Philo now placed this by her side, full of fine spun yarn, and a distaff charged with violet-covered wool that was laid upon the top of it. Then Helen took her seat, put her feet upon the footstool, and began to question her husband. "Do we know Menelaus? Oh God. Do we know, Menelaus," said she, "the names of these strangers who have come to visit us? Shall I guess right or wrong? But I cannot help saying what I think. Never have I seen either man or woman so like somebody else. Indeed, when I look at him, I hardly know what to think, as this young man is like Telemachus, whom Ulysses left as a baby behind him when you Achaeans went to Troy with battle in your hearts, on account of my most shameless self." "My dear wife," replied Menelaus, "I see that..." Should I give him the voice back? I feel like I should give the voice back. Diana is Artemis, chat? Oh, thank you. I needed that. "My dear wife," replied Menelaus, "I see the likeness just as you do. His hands and feet are just like Ulysses, so is his hair, with the shape of his head and the expression of his eyes. Moreover, when I was talking about Ulysses, and saying how much he had suffered on my account, tears fell from his eyes, and he hid his face in his mantle. Then Pisistratus said, Menelaus, son of Atreus, you are right in thinking that this young man is Telemachus, but he is very modest and is ashamed to come here and begin opening up discourse with one whose conversation is so divinely interesting as your own. My father, Nestor, sent me to escort him hither, or I should give him the same voice as his father, shouldn't I? For he wanted to know whether you could give him any counsel or suggestion. Sorry, I think this is the first time Pisistratus has talked. Talking. My father, Nestor, sent me to escort him hither, for he wanted to know whether you could give him any counsel or suggestion. A son is always trouble at home when his father has gone away, leaving him without supporters, and this is how Telemachus is now placed, for his father is absent, and there is no one among his own people to stand by him. Bless my heart, replied Menelaus. Then I am receiving a visit from the son of a very dear friend, who suffered much hardship for my sake. I had always hoped to entertain him with most marked distinction when heaven had granted us a safe return from beyond the seas. I should have founded a city for him in Argos, and built him a house. I should have made him leave Ithaca with his goods, his son, and all his people, and should have sacked for them some one of the neighbouring cities that are subject to me. We should thus have seen one another continually, and nothing but death could have interrupted so close and happy an intercourse. I suppose, however, that heaven grudged us such great good fortune, for it has prevented the poor fellow from ever getting home at all. Thus did he speak, and his words set them all weeping. Helen wept, Telemachus wept, and so did Menelaus. Nor could Pisistratus keep his eyes from filling, when he remembered his dear brother Antilochus, whom the son of bright dawn had killed. Thereon he said to Menelaus, Sir, my father Nestor, when we used to talk about you at home, told me you were a person of rare and excellent understanding. If, then, it be possible, do as I would urge you. I am not fond of crying while I am getting my supper. Morning will come in due course, and for the forenoon I care not how much I cry for those that are dead and gone. This is all we can do for the poor things. We can only shave our heads for them and wring the tears from our cheeks. I had a brother who died at Troy. He was by no means the worst man there. You are sure to have known him. His name was Antilochus. I never set eyes upon him myself, but they say that he was singularly fleet of foot and in fight valiant. Your discretion, my friend, answered Menelaus, is beyond your years. It is plain you take after your father. One can soon see when a man is son to one whom heaven has blessed both as regards wife and offspring, and it has blessed Nestor from first to last all his days, giving him a green old age in his own house, with sons about him who are both well-disposed and valiant. We will put an end, therefore, to all this weeping, and attend to our supper again. Let water be poured over our hands. Telemachus and I can talk with one another fully in the morning. Okay, sorry. One more break. It is a little bit of Doom Jowie, okay? Pisistratus. Is that how I'm doing? Is that how I'm supposed to be saying? Pisistratus. On this Asphalion, one of the servants poured water over their hands, and they laid their hands on the good things that were before them. Then Jove's daughter Helen bethought her of another matter. She drugged the wine with an herb that banishes all care, sorrow, and ill humour. Whoever drinks wine thus drugged cannot shed a single tear all the rest of the day, not even though his father and mother, both of them, drop down dead, or he sees a brother or a son hewn in pieces before his very eyes. This... Oh, sorry. I've lost my place. This drug of such sovereign power and virtue had been given to Helen by Polydamna, wife of Thon, a woman of Egypt, where there grow all sorts of herbs, some good to put into the mixing bowl, and others poisonous. Moreover, every one in the whole country is a skilled physician, for they are of the race of Paeon. When Helen had put this drug in the bowl and had told the servants to serve the wine round, she said, Menelaus, son of Atreus, and you, my good friends, sons of honourable men, which is as Jove wills, for he is the giver both of good and evil, and can do what he chooses. Feast here as you will, and listen while I tell you a tale in season. I cannot indeed name every single one of the exploits of Ulysses, but I can say what he did when he was before Troy, and you Achaeans were in all sorts of difficulties. He covered himself with wounds and bruises, dressed himself all in rags, and entered the enemy's city looking like a menial or a beggar, and quite different from what he did when he was among his own people. In this disguise he entered the city of Troy, and no one said anything to him. I alone recognized him and began to question him, but he was too cunning for me. When, however, I had washed and anointed him, and had given him clothes, and after I had sworn a solemn oath not to betray him to the Trojans till he had got safely back to his own camp and to the ships, he told me all that the Achaeans meant to do. He killed many Trojans, and got much information before he reached the Argive camp. For all which things the Trojan women made lamentation. But for my own part I was glad, for my heart was beginning to yearn after my home, and I was unhappy about the wrong that Venus had done to me in taking me over there, away from my country, my girl, and my lawful wedded husband, who is indeed by no means deficient either in person or understanding. Then Menelaus said, "All that you have been saying, my dear wife, is true. I have travelled much and have had much to do with heroes, but I have never seen such another man as Ulysses. What endurance, too, and what courage he displayed within the wooden horse, wherein all the bravest of the Argives were lying in wait to bring death and destruction upon the Trojans. At that moment you came up to us. Some god who wished well to the Trojans must have set you onto it, and you had Deiphobus with you. 3 times did you go all round our hiding place and pat it. You called our chiefs each by his own name, and mimicked all our wives. Diomed, Ulysses, and I from our seats inside heard what a noise you made. Diomed and I could not make up our minds whether to spring out then and there, or to answer you from inside. But Ulysses held us all in check. So we sat quite still, all except Anticlus, who was beginning to answer you. When Ulysses clapped his 2 brawny hands over his mouth and kept him there, it was this that saved us all, for he muzzled Anticlus till Minerva took you away again." Remember when my wife almost got us all killed? That was great. "How sad," exclaimed Telemachus, "that all this was of no avail to save him, nor yet his own iron courage. But now, sir, be pleased to send us all to bed, that we may lie down and enjoy the blessed boon of sleep." On this Helen took the maidservants and to set beds in the room that was in the gatehouse, and to make them with good red rugs, and spread coverlets on the top of them with woolen cloaks for the guests to wear. So the maids went out carrying a torch and made the beds, to which a man-servant presently conducted the strangers. Thus then did Telemachus and Pisistratus sleep there in the forecourt, while the son of Atreus lay in an inner room with lovely Helen by his side. When the child of morning, rosy-fingered Dawn, appeared, Menelaus rose and dressed himself. He bound his sandals on to his comely feet, girded his sword about his shoulders, and left his room looking like an immortal god. Then, taking a seat near Telemachus, he said, "And what, Telemachus, has led you to take this long sea voyage to Lacedaemon? Are you on public or private business? Tell me all about it." "I have come, sir," replied Telemachus, "to see if you can tell me anything about my father. I am being eaten out of house and home, my fair estate is being wasted, and my house is full of miscreants who keep killing great numbers of my sheep and oxen, on the pretence of paying their addresses to my mother. Therefore I am suppliant at your knees, if haply you may tell me about my father's melancholy end, whether you saw it with your own eyes, or heard it from some other traveller, for he was a man born to trouble. Do not soften things out of any pity for myself, but tell me in all plainness exactly what you saw. If my brave father Ulysses ever did you loyal service either by word or deed, when you Achaeans were harassed by the Trojans, bear it in mind now, as in my favour, and tell me truly all." Menelaus, on hearing this, was very much shocked. So, he exclaimed, these cowards would usurp a brave man's bed. A hind might as well lay her newborn young in the lair of a lion, and then go off to feed in the forest or in some grassy dell. The lion, when he comes back to his lair, will make short work with the pair of them, and so will Ulysses with these suitors. By Father Jove, Minerva, and Apollo, if Ulysses is still the man— oh, Apollo! If Ulysses is still the man that he was when he wrestled with Philomelides in Lesbos, and threw him so heavily that all the Achaeans cheered him. If he is still such and were to come near these suitors, they would have a short shrift and a sorry wedding. As regards to your questions, however, I will not prevaricate nor deceive you, but will tell you without concealment all that the old man of the sea told me. I was trying to come here, but the gods detained me in Egypt, for my hecatombs had not given them full satisfaction, and the gods are very strict about having their dues. Now off Egypt, about as far as a ship can sail in a day with a good stiff breeze behind her, there is an island called Pharos. It has a good harbour from which vessels can get out into the open sea when they have taken in water, and here the gods becalmed me 20 days without so much of a breath of fair wind to help me forward. We would have run clean out of provisions, and my men would have starved, if a goddess had not taken pity upon me and saved me in the person of Odyssea, daughter of Proteus, the old man of the sea, for she had taken a great fancy to me. She came to me one day when I was by myself, as I often was, for the men used to go with their barbed hooks all over the island in the hope of catching a fish or two to save them from the pangs of hunger. "Stranger," said she, "it seems to me that you like starving in this way. At any rate, it does not greatly trouble you, for you stick here day after day without even trying to get away, though your men are dying by inches." "Let me tell you," said I, "whichever of the goddesses you may happen to be, that I am not staying here of my own accord, but must have offended the gods that live in heaven. Tell me, therefore, for the gods know everything, which of the immortals is hindering me in this way. It is that is hindering me in this way. And tell me also how I may sail the sea so as to reach my home." Sorry. "Stranger," replied she, "I will make it all quite clear to you. There is an old immortal who lives under the sea hereabouts, and whose name is Proteus. He is an Egyptian, and people say he is my father. He is Neptune's head man, and knows every inch of ground all over the bottom of the sea. If you can snare him and hold him tight, he will tell you about your voyage, what courses you are to take, and how you are to sail the sea so as to reach your home. He will also tell you, if you so will, that all has been going on at your house, both good and bad. All that has been going on at your house, both good and bad, while you have been away on your long and dangerous journey." "Can you show me," said I, "some stratagem by means of which I may catch this old god without his suspecting it and finding me out? For a god is not easily caught, not by a mortal man." "Stranger," said she, "I will make it all quite clear to you. About the time when the sun shall have reached mid-heaven, the old man of the sea comes up from under the waves, heralded by the west wind that furs the water over his head. As soon as he has come up, he lies down and goes to sleep in a great sea cave where the seals, Halosydnes, chickens as they call them, come up also from the grey sea and go to sleep in shoals all around him, and a very strong and fish-like smell do they bring with them. Early tomorrow morning I will take you to this place and will lay you in ambush. Pick out, therefore, the 3 best men you have in your fleet, and I will tell you all the tricks that the old man will play you. First, he will look over all his seals and count them. Then, when he has seen them and tallied them on his 5 fingers, he will go to sleep among them, as a shepherd among his sheep. Okay. The moment you see that he is asleep, seize him. Put forth all your strength and hold him fast, for he will do his very utmost to get away from you. He will turn himself into every kind of creature that goes upon the earth, and will become also both fire and water. But you must hold him fast and grip him tighter and tighter, till he begins to talk to you and comes back to what he was when you saw him go to sleep. Then you may slacken your hold and let him go, and you can ask him which of the gods it is that is angry with you, and what you must do to reach your home over the seas." Having so said, she dived under the waves, whereon I turned back to the place where my ships were ranged upon the shore, and my heart was clouded with care as I went along. When I reached my ship, we got supper ready, for night was falling, and camped down upon the bench. When the child of morning, rosy-fingered Dawn, appeared, I took the 3 men on whose prowess of all kinds I could most rely, and went along by the seaside, praying heartily to heaven. Meanwhile the goddess fetched me up 4 seal-skins from the bottom of the sea, all of them just skinned, for she meant playing a trick upon her father. Then she dug 4 pits for us to lie in, and sat down to wait till we should come up. When we were close to her, she made us lie down in the pits one after the other, and threw a seal-skin over each of us. Our ambuscade would have been intolerable, for the stench of the fishy seals was most distressing. Who would go to bed with a sea monster if he could help it? But here, too, the goddess helped us, and thought of something that gave us great relief, for she put some ambrosia under each man's nostrils, which was so fragrant that it killed the smell of the seals. Thank God they skipped this part in Epic. We waited the whole morning and made the best of it, watching the seals come up in hundreds to bask upon the seashore, till at noon the old man of the sea came up too, and when he had found his fat seals, he went over to them and counted them. We were among the first he counted, and he never suspected any guile, but laid himself down to sleep as soon as he had done counting. Then we rushed upon him with a shout and seized him, on which he began at once with his old tricks, and changed himself first into a lion with a great mane. Then all of a sudden he became a dragon, a leopard, a wild boar. The next moment he was running water, and then again directly he was a tree. But we stuck to him and never lost hold, till at last the cunning old creature became distressed and said, "Which of the gods was it, son of Atreus, that hatched this plot with you for snaring me and seizing me against my will?" Atreus. Isn't that... Oh yeah, that's the sun in God of War, isn't it? Sorry. Which of the gods was it, son of Atreus, that hatched this plot with you for snaring me and seizing me against my will? What do you want? Oh, hi, Work Clippy. Oh, bye, Work. And bye, Bluglajo. Thank you very much for watching and sticking around. Oh, Work Clippy just said hi. Okay, hi. Okay. Hi, Vincent. What's up? Oh, cycle. Yeah, you're right. Hang on. Let me do it at the end, okay? It's a cycle announcement. There's a new chapter coming out. I will announce it at the end, because right now is not a fantastic spot to do it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, when is it, by the way? I know this. Sorry, my dates are all mixed around. If I go into Tapas now, I could probably just... Haha! Fantastic! Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Yeah. Okay. Yes, okay, I remember. I have it here. It's fine. Later. Thanks for reminding me, Vincent. Okay. You know that yourself, old man, I answered. You will gain nothing by trying to put me off. It is because I have been kept so long in this island and see no sign of my being able to get away. I am losing all heart, so tell me then, for your gods know everything, which of the immortals is it that is hindering me, and tell me also how I may sail the sea so as to reach my home. Then he said, if you would finish If you would finish your voyage and get home quickly, you must offer sacrifices to Jove and to the rest of the gods before embarking, for it is decreed that you shall not get back to your friends and to your own house until you have returned to the heaven-fed stream of Egypt and offered holy hecatombs to the immortal gods that reign in heaven. When you have done this, they will let you finish your voyage. Sorry. I was broken-hearted when I heard that I must go back all that long and terrible voyage to Egypt. Nevertheless, I answered, I will do all, old man, that you have laid upon me, but now tell me, and tell me true, whether all the Achaeans whom Nestor and I left behind us when we set sail from Troy have got home safely, or whether any one of them came to a bad end, either on board his own ship or among his friends when the days of his fighting were done. Son of Atreus, he answered, why ask me? You had better not know what I can tell you, for your eyes will surely fill when you have heard my story. Many of these about whom you ask are dead and gone, but many still remain. And only 2 of the chief men among the Achaeans perished during their return home. As for what happened on the field of battle, you were there yourself. A third Achaean leader is still at sea, alive but hindered from returning. Ajax was wrecked, for Neptune drove him onto the great rocks of Gyrae. Nevertheless, he let him get safe out of the water, and in spite of all Minerva's hatred, he would have escaped death if he had not ruined himself by boasting. He said the gods could not drown him even though they had tried to do so. And when Neptune heard this large talk, he seized its trident in his 2 brawny hands and split the rock of Gyrae into 2 pieces. The base remained where it was, but the part on which Ajax was sitting fell headlong into the sea and carried Ajax with it, so he drank salt water and was drowned. Your brother and his ships escaped, for Juno protected him, but when he was just about to reach the high promontory of Malea, he was caught by a heavy gale which carried him out to sea again sorely against his will, and drove him to the foreland where Thyestes used to dwell, but where Aegisthus was then living. By and by, however, it seemed as though he was to return safely after all, for the gods backed his wind into its old quarter, and they reached home, whereon Agamemnon kissed his native soil and shed tears of joy at finding himself in his own country. Now there was a watchman whom Aegisthus kept always on the watch, and to whom he had promised 2 talents of gold. This man had been looking out for a whole year to make sure that Agamemnon did not give him the slip and prepare war. When, therefore, this man saw Agamemnon go by, he went and told Aegisthus, who at once began to lay a plot for him. He picked 20 of his bravest warriors and placed them in ambuscade on one side of the cloister, while on the opposite side he prepared a banquet. Then he sent his chariots and horsemen to Agamemnon, and invited him to the feast. But he meant foul play. He got him there, all unsuspicious of the doom that was awaiting him, and killed him when the banquet was over, as though he were butchering an ox in the shambles. Not one of Agamemnon's followers was left alive, and nor yet one of Aegisthus's. But they were all killed there in the cloisters. Hui, okay. No problem, Vincent. Thus spoke Proteus, and I was broken-hearted as I heard him. I sat down upon the sands and wept. I felt as though I could no longer bear to live nor look upon the light of the sun. Presently, when I had had my fill of weeping and writhing upon the ground, the old man of the sea said, Son of Atreus, do not waste any more time in crying so bitterly. It can do no manner of good. Find your way home as fast as ever you can, for Aegisthus may still be alive. And even though Orestes has been beforehand with you in killing him, you may yet come in for his funeral. On this I took comfort in spite of all my sorrow, and said, I know then about these 2. Tell me, therefore, about the third man of whom you spoke. Is he still alive, but at sea and unable to get home? Or is he dead? Tell me, no matter how much it may grieve me. The third man, he answered, is Ulysses, who dwells in Ithaca. I can see him in an island, sorrowing bitterly in the house of the nymph Calypso, who is keeping him prisoner, and he cannot reach his home, for he has no ships nor sailors to take him over the sea. As for your own end, Menelaus, you shall not die in Argos, but the gods will take you to the Elysian plain, which is at the ends of the world. There fair-haired Rhadamanthus reigns, and men lead an easier life than anywhere else in the world. For in Elysium there falls not rain, nor hail, nor snow, but Oceanus breathes ever with a west wind that sings softly from the sea, and gives fresh life to all men. This will happen to you because you have married Helen, and are Jove's son-in-law. As he spoke, he dived under the waves, whereon I turned back to the ships with my companions, and my heart was clouded with care as I went along. When we reached the ships, we got supper ready, for night was falling, and camped down upon the beach. When the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn, appeared, we drew our ships into the water, and put our masts and sails within them. Then we went on board ourselves, took our seats on the benches, and smote the grey sea with our oars. I again stationed my ships in the heaven-fed stream of Egypt, and offered hecatombs that were full and sufficient. When I had thus appeased heaven's anger, I raised a barrow to the memory of Agamemnon, that his name might live forever, after which I had a quick passage home, for the gods sent me a fair wind. And now for yourself, stay here some 10 or 12 days longer, and I will then speed you on your way. I will make you a noble present of a chariot and 3 horses. I will also give you a beautiful chalice, that so long as you live you may think of me whenever you make a drink offering to the immortal gods. "Son of Atreus," replied Telemachus, "do not press me to stay longer. I should be contented to remain with you for another 12 months. I find your conversation so delightful that I should never once wish myself at home with my parents. But my crew whom I have left at Pylos are already impatient, and you are detaining me from them. As for any present you may be disposed to make me, I had rather that it should be a piece of plate. I will take no horses back with me to Ithaca, but will leave them to adorn your own stables, for you have much flat ground in your kingdom where lotus thrives, and as also meadowsweet and wheat and barley, and oats with their white and spreading ears, whereas in Ithaca we have neither open fields nor race courses, and the country is more fit for goats than horses, and I like it the better for that. None of our islands have much level ground suitable for horses, and Ithaca least of all." Menelaus smiled and took Telemachus's hand within his own. "What you say," said he, "shows that you come of good family. I both can and will make this exchange for you by giving you the finest and most precious piece of plate in all my house. It is a mixing bowl by Vulcan's own hand, of pure silver, except the rim, which is inlaid with gold. Phaedimus, king of the Sidonians, gave it to me in the course of a visit which I paid him, which I returned thither on my homeward journey. I will make you a present of it." Thus did they converse, and guests kept coming to the king's house. They bought sheep and wine, while their wives had put up bread for them to take with them. So they were busy cooking their dinners in the courts. That was all in brackets. I don't know why that was in brackets. That was a bit of an aside. Hi, Hariska. How you doing? Thank you for coming at all, actually. Thank you. I know it's the time change has made things a bit more difficult. I do apologize. Meanwhile, the suitors were throwing discs or aiming with spears at a mark on the leveled ground in front of Ulysses' house, and were behaving with all their old insolence. Antonius and Eurymachus, who were their ringleaders and much the foremost among them all, were sitting together when Noman, son of Phronius, came up and said to Antinous, sorry, I keep saying Antonius. "Have we any idea, Antinous, on what day Telemachus returns from Pylos? He has a ship of mine, and I want it to cross over to Elis. I have 12 broodmares there with yearling mule foals by their side, not yet broken in, and I want to bring one of them over here and break him." They were astounded when they heard this, for they had made sure that Telemachus had not gone to the city of Neleus. They thought he was only away somewhere on the farms, and was with the sheep or with the swineherd. So Antonius said, When did he go? Tell me truly, and what young men did he take with him? Were they freemen or his own bondsmen? For he might manage that too. Tell me also, did you let him have the ship of your own free will because he asked you, or did he take it without your leave?" "I lent it to him," answered Noman. "What else could I do when a man of his position says he was in a difficulty and asked me to oblige him? I could not possibly refuse. As for those who went with him, they were the best young men we have, and I saw Mentor go on board as captain, or some god who was exactly like him. I cannot understand it, for I saw Mentor here myself yesterday morning, and yet he was then setting out for Pylos." Noman then went back to his father's house. But Antinous and Eurymachus were very angry. They told the others to leave off playing and to come in and sit down among themselves. When they came, Antinous, son of Eupeithes, spoke in anger. His heart was black with rage, and his eyes flashed fire as he said, "Good heavens, this voyage of Telemachus is a very serious matter. We have made sure that it would come to nothing, but the young fellow has got away in spite of us, and with a picked crew too. He will be giving us trouble presently. May Jove take him before he is full grown. Find me a ship, therefore, with a crew of 20 men, and I will lie in wait for him in the straits between Ithaca and Samos. He will then rue the day that he set out to try and get news of his father." Thus did he speak, and the others applauded his saying. They then all of them went inside the buildings. It was not long ere Penelope came to know what the suitors were plotting, for a manservant Medon overheard them from outside the outer court as they were laying their schemes within, and went to tell his mistress. As he crossed the threshold of her room, Penelope said, "Medon, what have the suitors sent you here for? Is it to tell the maids to leave their master's business and cook dinner for them? I wish they may neither woo nor dine henceforward, neither here nor anywhere else. But let this be the very last time for the waste you will make of my son's estate. Did not your fathers tell you when you were children how good Ulysses had been to them, never doing anything high-handed, nor speaking harshly to anybody? Kings may say things sometimes, and they may take a fancy to one man and dislike another, but Ulysses never did an unjust thing to anybody, which shows what bad hearts you have, and that there is no such thing as gratitude left in this world." Then Medon said, "I wish, madam, that this were all, but they are plotting something much more dreadful now. May heaven frustrate their design. They are going to try and murder Telemachus as he is coming home from Pylos and Lacedaemon, where he has been to get news of his father." Then Penelope's heart sank within her, and for a long time she was speechless. Her eyes filled with tears, and she could find no utterance. At last, however, she said, "Why did my son leave me? What business had he to go sailing off in ships that make long voyages over the ocean like seahorses? Does he want to die without leaving anyone behind him to keep up his name?" "I do not know," answered Medon, "whether some god sent him on to it, or whether he went on his own impulse to see if he could find out if his father was dead, alive, and on his way home. Dead or alive and on his way home." Then he went downstairs again, leaving Penelope in an agony of grief. There were plenty of seats in the house, but she had no heart for sitting on any one of them. She could only fling herself on the floor of her own room and cry, whereon all the maids in the house, both old and young, gathered around her and began to cry too, till at last, in a transport of sorrow, she exclaimed, "My dears, heaven has been pleased to try me with more affliction than any other woman of my age and country. First I lost my brave and lion-hearted husband, who had every good quality under heaven, and whose name was great over all Hellas and middle Argos. And now my darling son is at the mercy of the winds and the waves, without my having heard one word about his leaving home. You hussies, you hussies, there was not one of you would so much as think of giving me a call out of my bed, though you all of you very well knew when he was starting. Oh no. If I had known he meant taking this voyage, he would have had to give it up, no matter how much he was bent upon it, or leave me a corpse behind him, one or the other. Now, however, go some of you and call old Dolius, who was given me by my father on my marriage, and who is my gardener. Bid him go at once and tell everything to Laertes, who may be able to hit on some plan for enlisting public sympathy on our side, as against those who are trying to exterminate his own race and that of Ulysses." Then the dear old nurse Euryclea said, "You may kill me, madam, or let me live in your house, whichever you please, but I will tell you the real truth. I knew all about it, and gave him everything he wanted in the way of bread and wine, but he made me take my solemn oath that I would not tell you anything for some 10 or 12 days, unless you asked or happened to hear of his having gone, for he did not want to spoil your beauty by crying. And now, madam, wash your face, change your dress, and go upstairs with your maids to offer prayers to Minerva, daughter of Aegis-bearing Jove, for she can save him even though he be in the jaws of death. Do not trouble Laertes, he has trouble enough already. Besides, I cannot think that the gods hate the race of the son of Arceus so much, but there will be a son left to come up after him, and inherit both the house and the fair fields that lie far all around it." With these words she made her mistress leave off crying, and dried the tears from her eyes. Penelope washed her face, changed her dress, and went upstairs with her maids. She then put some bruised barley into a basket and began praying to Minerva. "Hear me," she cried, "daughter of Aegis-bearing Jove, unweariable. If ever Ulysses, while he was here, burned your fat thigh-bone of sheep or heifer, bear it in mind now as in my favour, and save my darling son from the villainy of the suitors." She cried aloud as she spoke, and the goddess heard her prayer. Meanwhile the suitors were clamorous throughout the covered cloister, and one of them said, "The queen is preparing for..." I have the same voice for all of them. "The queen is preparing for a marriage with one or other of us. Little does she dream that her son has now been doomed to die." This is what they said, but they did not know what was going to happen. Then Antinous said, "Comrades, let there be no loud talking, lest some of it get carried inside. Let us be up and do that in silence, about which we are all of a mind." He then chose 20 men, and they went down to their ship and to the seaside. They drew the vessel into the water and got her mast and sails inside her. They bound the oars to the thole pins with twisted thongs of leather, all in due course, and spread the white sails aloft, while their fine servants brought them their armor. Then they made the ship fast a little way out, came on shore again, got their suppers, and waited till night should fall. But Penelope lay in her own room upstairs, unable to eat or drink, and wondering whether her brave son would escape or be overpowered by the wicked suitors. Like a lioness caught in the toils, with huntsmen hemming her in on every side, she thought and thought till she sank into a slumber, and lay on her bed bereft of thought and motion. We're almost at the end of the chapter. Okay. Then Minerva bethought her of another matter, and made a vision in the likeness of Penelope's sister, Iphthime, daughter of Icarus. Have I been saying Icarus this whole time and it's Icarius? Okay. Who had married Eumelus and lived in Pherae. She told the vision to go to the house of Ulysses and to make Penelope leave off crying, so it came into her room by the hole through which the thong went for pulling the door to, and hovered over her head, saying, "You are asleep, Penelope. The gods who live at ease will not suffer you to weep and be sad. Your son has done them no wrong, so he will yet come back to you." Penelope, who was sleeping sweetly at the gates of dreamland, answered, "Sister, why have you come here? You do not come very often, but I suppose that is because you live such a long way off. Am I then to leave off crying and refrain from all the sad thoughts that torture me? I, who have lost my brave and lion-hearted husband, who had every good quality under heaven, and whose name was great over all Hellas and Middle Argos, and now my darling son has gone off on board of a ship, a foolish fellow who has never been used to roughing it, nor to going about among gatherings of men. I am even more anxious about him than about my husband. I'm all in a tremble when I think of him, lest something should happen to him, either from the people among whom he has gone or by sea, for he has many enemies who are plotting against him and are bent on killing him before he can return home." Then the vision said, "Take heart and be not so much dismayed. There is one gone with him whom many a man would be glad enough to have stand by his side. I mean Minerva. It is she who has compassion upon you and who has sent me to bear this message." Then said Penelope, "If you are a god who have been sent here by divine commission, tell me also about that other unhappy one. Is he still alive, or is he already dead and in the house of Hades?" And the vision said, "I shall not tell you for certain whether he is alive or dead, and there is no use in idle conversation." It's not important. As a need-to-know basis. Then it vanished through the thong hole of the door and was dissipated into thin air. But Penelope rose from her sleep refreshed and comforted, so vivid had been her dream. Meantime the suitors went on board and sailed their ways over the sea, intent on murdering Telemachus. Now there is a rocky isle called Asteris, of no great size, in mid-channel between Ithaca and Samos, and there is a harbour on either side of it where a ship can lie. Here then the Achaeans placed themselves in ambush. And that is the end of Book 4. So now, as luck would have it, Book 5 is where we actually meet Ulysses / Odysseus. It is unfortunate that we are out of time. And I'm kind of enjoying this, so I think I'll probably put it back on the poll. I don't usually do that with books. I kind of, it's normally a one and done thing, especially for the longer books. But this was quite fun. I've been enjoying it. And it is kind of funny that we ended right where Odysseus actually comes into the story. So I think we shall. I think I'll pop it back on, and we'll see. When does he become a monster? If I became the monster. Da, 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 da. Announce cycle now. Okay. Hello everyone. If you do not know, there is a book. I don't know if that's the correct term. There is a Tapaz series on Tapaz. Oh my god. Okay, I'm doing this terribly. Okay, one more time. Let me try again. Start from the beginning. If you do not know, there is a book series on Tapaz that is being written and created from the ground up by Vincent. If you do not know, Vincent helps me with most of my videos, especially when it comes to the research and historical accuracy parts of it. It's pretty good. It's pretty well written. I just do sort of some editing for it to make sure that the English translation for it is good, good sounding. But all the words are Vincent's. Everything is his. And yeah, it's been sort of on a sort of unofficial hiatus for quite a long time. But chapter 25 is coming out on September 3rd. So that is the Thursday. Yeah, so exactly 1 week from now, it's going to be out. I think also at... Well, for me, it says 2:19 a.m., so I'm not entirely sure what that means. I don't think I set a proper time for it. I just set the date. But yeah, so it'll be out on September 3rd. If you have been following it, please do read it. I don't have a link for it sitting around, do I? I'm very good at this. I'm very good at this. I'm great at this. I'm doing fantastic. Anyways, here's the link for it. Dang it. All my tabs are thrown around from earlier when nothing was working. Okay, we're editing the description. Cycle link. Okay, there we go. So if you reload the page, in the description there is the link for the series. I'm also popping it into the chat here as well. So ew, that's my other account. Don't worry about that. Ah, dang it. It's because I'm on the wrong browser. Okay, anyway. There's a link for it. Don't worry about it. Don't follow my other account. I only use it to watch things. Okay, so thank you very much for watching the stream. And yeah, have fun with Cycle. Read all of it and enjoy it, and then tell Vincent he did a great job, because he did. Accidental self-doxing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care that much. It's okay. I really don't use that for anything. I somehow have a channel on here. Oh well. Okay. Well. 2015. I was 14 when I made this account. Okay. Anyway. See you guys later. I hope you have a great rest of your week. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. Hope you have a great weekend. The poll for next week's stream will be up on Friday tomorrow at some point. Yeah, so we'll probably have a repeat Storytime poll just for part 2 of this. And yeah, then we'll be okay. Okay. Love you all. Have fun. Goodbye. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, 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 bye. Okay. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.